Hey, how's it going? Gord, hey, how's it going? Sorry I'm a little late. I took a wrong turn. All good.
You see like 8 entries up
They already did levels. He wants it at 12 o'clock for us. 12 o'clock, all right, beauty. Yep. Getting some bleed from this headset, even though it's not even turned on. You mind if I unplug it?
Sure.
Yeah. Check. Am I doing the game with you today?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I did this game last year solo, and
I thought I was about to have to Vin Scully it today.
Oh, so. Yeah. I mean, between you and me,
yeah,
I really wanted to call in sick for this game. Like, I was doing my scheduling over at AM 730.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of this is my one day off on 14 straight.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I got back at 4 a.m. from our game in Kelowna last night. So.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Out in Kelowna, eh? How was that?
Brutal. We had a bus issue. Bus left an hour and a half late.
Oh, my God.
They scheduled us for the wrong date, so they had to scramble some guy in overtime.
Whoa.
So on the way back, we had to chill in Merritt for an hour and a half because he had to do his legally mandated 8-hour break.
Okay, yeah.
Because he was on overtime and all this kind of stuff. Like, it was just a long, long day.
That doesn't sound fun. That does not sound fun, especially up in Kelowna, so far from home, right?
Yeah, not an ideal way to play a football game, you know?
No, definitely not. I feel like we're going to be standing pretty much all day today.
Yeah.
Going to be
keep you out of the sun.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
All right, what time is our broadcast going live?
That would be a question for those guys up there. I would assume after the prayer and anthem.
Okay, yeah. So how is things? Life good for you?
Yeah. Busy. Being in football season, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And having to, with the show that we do and stuff like that, having to pay attention to the college game means it's pretty much a 7-day-a-week job. But could be worse things to do, I guess.
I really miss working with Crown Countdown U.
Yeah.
I really took that. Well, I mean, I didn't do enough with my time there. I was interning with Jim when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was fun to hang out with him and to learn how to splice video packs and to actually do it and to feel like you were doing something on.
Yeah, he's, if you told me a year ago where we would be right now, I don't know that I would have believed that even. So,
yeah.
It's really blown up. So I'm hoping that we can keep that momentum going. We better take our stuff off here.
Strong and free from remain standing as we are led in prayer by BC alumni and current head rowing coach, Mr. Mark Addison.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, thank you for the gift of our alumni, family, and friends who are gathered here today. We especially remember the life of Christian Domingo, who proudly wore number 11, and who we especially honor for his faith, perseverance, and dedication. We thank you for our healthy bodies and the ability to compete today. Give us the strength to be the very best you have created us to be, as Christian exemplified in his life. Guide us to compete with sportsmanship, and may we be an example of respect for our opponents, both on and off the field. We ask all this through you, Lord. Amen. Blessed Ellen Rice, live Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Joining our captains today for the coin toss are junior captains Daniel and Declan Carvalho, sons of Gus Carvalho, who is a graduate of BC in 1979. Also joining our captains today and junior captains is Mr. Frank Smith from the BC graduating class of 1951. Coach Smith graduated from Vancouver College in 1951 and was a member of the football, boxing, and track teams. After graduation, he attended Olympic Junior College and the University of Washington. In 1953, he signed with the Calgary Stampeders and played 4 seasons in the CFL, helping Edmonton to a Grey Cup in 1954. After his stint playing professional football, he joined his good friend and former teammate at BC, Kyle Murphy, coaching the football program at Notre Dame. He went on to coach at a number of schools in Washington and Montana, and in 1979 took over head coaching football duties at the University of British Columbia. For the next 21 seasons, he turned the UBC program around, making the Thunderbirds into a national powerhouse, winning 5 Canada West championships and 4 national championships. He has been inducted into the Vancouver College Hall of Honor, the UBC Sports Hall of Fame, the BC Sports Hall of Fame, and most recently, the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Please welcome me in joining Coach Frank Smith.
Hello, sports fans. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, this is SportsCanada.TV. It's O'Hagan Field. It's the game of the week. Welcome. AAA Varsity Football, Vancouver College welcoming Mount Douglas. Thank you again for tuning in. My name is Alexander Kerrigan. I'll be doing play-by-play. Gord Randall by my side. I'll be doing the color commentary, coloring it a little bit. Gord, how you feeling today?
Good, eh? It's a beautiful day for football with the wet weather we've had the last couple weeks out in this neck of the woods. It's nice to see the skies open up. It's actually pretty warm out here. We're a little bit in the sun here in the north stands at O'Hagan Field. So I know there's a lot of people around us that are cooking a little bit,
Yep.
but could be worse problems to have.
Hey, myself included, Gord. I expected rain today for this match, but it is gorgeous as you mentioned. It is a beautiful day for football, but then again, aren't they all? Both teams 0-1 coming into this one. Mount Doug and Van College looking for their first win of the season. This is the first home game of the season for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish, and they will start with the football about 2 minutes away from this opening kickoff. And we're ready to go. Gord, I saw you taking some notes in the opening broadcast. Any players that you're really going to be highlighting today?
Well, when you're talking about the home team here, the Vancouver College Fighting Irish, you can't start talking about the Irish roster this year without talking about the Wonder Twins, Kewan and Deshaun Johnson, number 1 and number 2 appropriately enough. Deshaun in particular, their number 1 weapon on offense. Kewan more of he's their number 1 corner on defense. But those 2 guys are the engines around which this roster ticks this year. And on the Mount Doug side, keep an eye on their offense. These are the reigning provincial champions. They're based on a spread offense. Their guy on offense is number 4, Joe Lucas, leading rusher and leading receiver right now for them. He also attempted a pass last week. Didn't end up that well, but he's the guy to look for who moves all over the field for this Rams roster.
Throwing in a little bit of a wrinkle, attempting a pass on that one, so lots to watch out for in that regard. And yeah, the Wonder Twins, only one last name to remember with the Johnson brothers. Looking forward to it. This is going to be a great match here at O'Hagan. As you mentioned, it is nice and hot today. Wonder how that's going to factor in as well. Typically on really hot days, you see a lot of cramp ups. The players got to stay hydrated for this one.
And one thing that's kind of an under-the-radar, little bit of an advantage being the road team at this particular stadium is you'll see that far bench there completely in the shade. And on a day like this, that is a welcome respite on the occasions where you're able to go over to the sideline. And I'm really interested to see how this one goes. As you mentioned off the top, both these teams coming off a lost open conference play last week. Mount Doug losing at home to New West. Vancouver College losing at South Delta. The Western Conference looks like it's shaping up to be a gauntlet again this year. So both these teams need a W today.
We are set for a kickoff here as Mount Doug will kick off. Van College will receive. Looks like we have Jaden Xiong, number 2, in the back, set to return this one. Could also be K1 Johnson out there as it is kicked off. And it will be Jaden Xiong fielding this one, cutting up to the left. He's got a hole, and he gets brought down right around the 33-yard line by a couple of Rams. Flags are down just before the 30-yard line. Pardon me, that was Deshaun Johnson with the return on that one. And the Vancouver College will start with pretty good field position depending on this penalty.
Yeah, Deshaun Johnson getting involved right away there. 2 number 2s listed on the Vancouver College roster. Makes it a little difficult for a play-by-play guy, but the taller of the 2 of them being Deshaun, the taller number 2. So he returned that opening kickoff, and the Vancouver College offense, after a penalty here, will start on their own 20-yard line. Yeah,
unfortunately, holding call against the return there. They will get it on the 20-yard line. And an opening handoff. About a 6-yard gain right off the bat, up the middle. Good handoff here, and a good opening start for the Vancouver College.
Bread and butter for the Vancouver College offense. They are a run-based attack, very much a what you call a pro-style offense. You'll see inline tight ends, sometimes extra offensive linemen. This is power football.
Right back to the line. One-step drop off the slant and a completion. First down early for the Vancouver College. Catch made, looks like number 5 way on the sideline, Alex Nivalt. And really quick back to the line once again, not taking any time here. Get themselves back up. Big shift to the left, wide receiver in motion. Thinks about it, goes all the way to the right. It's Nivalt, the quarterback, not receiving that last one. Makes the handoff, play action, out to the flat, and a catch is made. It looks like a bobble, but the catch will be given to number 7, Gabe Pathello.
And one of the things to keep an eye on for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish that's always a characteristic of theirs is that size on the offensive line, averaging about 6'2" and 240 pounds up front. They have lots of size by high school standards, though Mount Douglas, no shortage of big boys up front as well. That's one of the battles to watch here today.
A pair of passes to open this drive off, but that first run, it was noticeable. The big hole up front. Here comes another run right up the middle. Another big hole, and a first down by Vancouver College. Just playing right into what you're saying, Gord.
And you can hear the crowd getting into it early here. I mean, typically the standard for football is to try and keep it down when they're on offense, but this big homecoming crowd here at O'Hagan getting into things early as their offense is moving up the field.
Look like the shorter number 2, Jaden Shong, with the last carry on that one. Out of a shotgun formation, curls to the left, and another completion, and close. Could be another first down on this one. Number 3, Josh Lumtung with the catch. Looks like they'll be spotted about a yard short.
Good mix of run and pass early on from the Irish, and Alex Nivett looking very comfortable early on here, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, crisply. It's been very good offensive start for the Irish.
Nivett sends a man in motion. 2 to the right and a sweep to the right. Some good defense here by Mount Douglas. They're going to snip this one out right in the backfield. Number 4, the first man to it, Joe Lucas on the tackle behind the line. And it seemed that Vancouver College was really having their way on this opening drive, and a bit of pushback by the Rams.
And that's one of your biggest challenges on offense, is having a big negative play and how you're going to recover from that. All of a sudden, what was a second and fairly short turns into a 3rd and long. And I believe that was Jaden Chong on the carry there, as the college official roster may have just forgotten a 2, as he appears to be wearing 22.
That's going to make it a lot easier to pick out, as opposed to the 2 number 2s as to which one is taller. 22, Jaden Shong. Thank you for that, Gord. Number 3rd and 9, play action. Looking deep is Nival. He's got a man over the middle and a catch made. Huge reception. Number 20, Jackson Findley, gets the Vancouver College out of trouble. What a huge gain there. They got 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, big play action play there on 3rd and long, and that's what happens when you are an effective run-based attack, is that you can make very effective use of that play action, even in a situation where a lot of teams would expect you to pass. Good job by Finley there to gas his corner and get a step behind him, and Nivett's ball was right on the money over the middle.
And this crowd is now into it at O'Hagan Field. 1st and 10 for Van College. And it's like a drop play here. Jaden Shung with the handoff gets hit right in the middle, but is able to get a couple of yards forward. But I saw a little bobble there. Good tackle by the Mount Doug linebacker.
And you can see the 2 different running styles from the 2 runners. Not that Deshaun Johnson is any slouch athletically, but a bigger, more powerful type of runner, as opposed to Chong, more of a slasher at just 5'7".
As Johnson with the carry now, straight up the middle, and a touchdown, Vancouver College. First score of the game. It is Deshaun Johnson, as you mentioned, straight up the middle, with some good power football, and the first points of the day belong to Van College.
And that first opening drive for College goes exactly to script for them. Power, 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 then over the top to open it up. And when it got down to the red zone, they were able to run that ball at will. Johnson with the emphatic finish, trucking a guy right at the goal line, and it's an early lead for the home team here. Mount Doug needs to recapture some momentum here pretty quickly.
Yeah, momentum all on the side for Vancouver College right now. The extra point is up and good. That's number 17, Ben Called, with the extra point.
And when you're on the road in an exciting, busy atmosphere, loud atmosphere like this, I mean, this isn't the easiest place to come in and play at the best of times. Nonetheless, on homecoming, if you're Mount Doug, you have to try and weather the early storm here and settle in pretty quickly, because with the momentum and the excitement, Van College could open up a pretty big lead here and end it quickly if you allow them to. So you got to strap in and get battling pretty quickly here. And it's not that they have to score on this drive, but I think they do need a little bit of positive momentum on this offensive possession coming up here.
100%. That's a good point. You know, maybe not necessarily a touchdown on this one, but just something to get him in the game. We're only 4 minutes into this one. Van College already leads 7-0. And as you mentioned, with homecoming, with the crowd behind it, if Van College gets a bit more momentum, they could really make something happen. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Again, we're only 4 minutes into this one, and Mount Doug is about to get their first possession of the game.
And you never sleep on the reigning provincial champions.
23, Luciano Coombs is back here to field this one. A clean catch for Coombs. He's going to take this one up the middle, find some blockers, and a bit of space to the left side. Shakes off one tackler, but then met by a few more. Looks like he'll be down by the 34-yard line. And again, Mount Doug, their first possession of this game.
And you see the Mount Doug offense going to come out on the field. Number 5, Hunter Swift, the starting quarterback, as I mentioned. You will see up-tempo, no huddle from Mount Doug. Once they start getting moving, they like to stay moving and stay on you quickly. Very modern spread style of offense from Mount Doug, as opposed to, despite the no-huddling stuff, as opposed to a more of a traditional pro-style offense at Vancouver College.
Here's Smith, hands it off right off the bat. And a modest gain here. Looks like about 3 or 4 yards. I want to say that was number 20, Ashton Rita. Pardon me, it was 30. Jordan Clark with the carry. Still a modest gain, about a 3 to 4 yard gain. Right back to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers to the right. He looks to the right, rolls to his left. Heaves this one. Almost a diving catch for number 10, Lyndon Williams. A little bit of a broken play on that one. 3rd down and 8 upcoming.
So when I use the term spread offense, one of the things that you will see from Mount Doug, you do not see from Vancouver College. Mount Doug, always a 5-man offensive line. Very rare occasion to see them add a tight end on either side of that line. They like to get bodies out of the box, and they believe that helps them in both the run game and the passing attack.
Trying to spread the offense here. It's a draw play. And this one looks like it'll be close to the 1st down. Good play by the Van College defense. Met up by 3 players there. And it looks like they will spot this one, if not on the line, but just behind it. Should be a 4th and short coming up.
And it's not that Mount Doug, cannot run the ball effectively. The basis of these two offenses is fundamentally different. With Vancouver College, you run the ball to open up the pass. With Mount Doug's offense, you pass to make sure the run opens up. Everything sets up off of the threat of pass, as opposed to vice versa, where Vancouver College, everything sets up off the threat of run. It's
Peter Primo with the last carry, and he picks up the 1st down for Mount Doug. This drive continues. A quick hit, a slant pass, is complete, and we're going to have another 1st down on our hands as number 4, Joe Lucas, runs this one out of bounds.
And as I mentioned off the top, there's a name to get used to saying this afternoon. Alex Joe Lucas, the leading rusher and leading receiver in the first game for Mount Doug. He's a guy that they want involved early and often. You can see why they're jitterbugging past a number of defenders on his way to the sticks.
Nice little grab there as well, snatching that ball out of the air for Lucas. Smith sends this one back to number 7. It's a wide receiver screen, and another 1st down is going to be picked up. Jackson Reed with his first reception of the game, and a nice little screen there, operating maybe as an extension of the run game for the Mount Doug Rams.
Yeah, you take what you can get, especially when you're in a 1st and 10 situation there. You give your quarterback an easy completion, and you see how much you're able to get afterwards. You make the defense rally up and make a play, and in that case, Reed was able to find plenty of real estate and move the sticks.
So we saw a bit of balance from the Van College opening drive with this one, all passing, but it's all working right now. Another 1st and 10, as it looks like Hunter Swift, getting the call from the sideline. Another wide receiver screen, this one out to number 4, Joe Lucas. Modest gain for the Rams, about a 2nd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, much better play on the edge there. The corner, Parsa Haiderzadeh, rallying up and making the play just beyond the line of scrimmage, and that's always effective, or always impressive, I should say, when the first man's able to make a tackle on a player like Joe Lucas.
2nd and 8, as you mentioned, spread offense here. Smith looking to the right now on the scramble, already with a couple of yards. He's going to run this one out of bounds, and another 1st down for Mount Doug. They've got a great opening drive.
And this is what spread does. This is another good example of how I talked about the pass opens up everything for Mount Doug. That was a design pass, but because they are so effective through the air, it opens up a number of lanes in the box for Swift to escape when he doesn't see what he likes downfield and have plenty of space to get to the sticks and step out of bounds without even taking a hit.
That's exactly right, Gord. We saw a lot of those wide receivers over to the right side, so much space to the left. 2-by-2 set here with one back for Swift. 1-step drop, throws it out to his flat. Ball is popped up. Lucas unable to make the catch, and that will be a 2nd down.
Not a lot lost there for the Rams, likely. It looked like Lucas was being rallied up on pretty quickly there by the other Johnson, Kwan Johnson, number 1. So I don't know that they would have gained much had he held on to that ball. Fortunately for them, when he popped it up in the air, it fell harmlessly to the turf behind him.
Yeah, probably best case scenario with the ball getting popped up like that. 2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers to the right. And a little bit of early movement is going to get called. A bit of extra yards for Mount Doug on this one.
And one of the things that you get when you're playing American rules football, as we do here in BC, is you don't have a lot of buffer zone on the defensive line to jump. In the Canadian game, it's a slightly different game. You've got the neutral zone. It's the offense's job to snap it while somebody's in the neutral zone. Otherwise, it's not going to be a penalty if you can get back. Here, if you are lined up right on the line as you theoretically should be, as soon as you move and break that plane, it's immediately a dead ball.
As you mentioned, absolutely no buffer zone, no room for error. So 2nd and 5. Mount Doug will hand this one off. And a bit of a pushback for the Vancouver College defense. Looks like number 24, once again, Peter Primo on the carry. I don't think he got the first down, but a bit of positive yardage here.
For sure, and I'm going to put on my coach hat here a little bit. You're backed up deep in your own end, and not just one of your defensive linemen, but one of your interior defensive linemen who has a very clear view of the ball, jumps offside. Offside penalties are tough to swallow. The best of times, they're free yards. The other team didn't have to earn them whatsoever. There's no physical nature to it, nothing like that. When you have a guy who's close to the ball jumping offside when you're backed up already, frustrating as a coach.
About 4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Mount Doug is knocking on the doorstep. They're in the eye back here. A little odd for them as they're going to run this one. They only need about 2 or 3 yards. They're going to get close to 8 or 9, very close to the end zone there. First down for Mount Doug. It's number 30 on the carry, Jordan Clark once again.
Yeah, short yardage offense there. You'll see 2 tight ends on both sides, a wing back on one side, an eye back in the backfield. Exactly what goal line looks like if you fire up Madden 19. And Jackson Clark, just 5'5". Interesting choice as the tailback in the short yardage situation.
Another short yardage situation. This time it's a quarterback dive. Looks like he had the hole there. And no signal from the referees just yet. It's going to be very close, though.
Ruled just short here.
Yep, just short. Again, close, but not close enough. 2nd down. And you got to imagine this close to the end zone. I mean, they've got 2 cracks at it. You could try again, or even a play action, play into the hands of Mount Doug.
Very much so. You have options here at just 2nd and goal. You got a couple plays to play with.
Only inches to go, and Mount Doug is able to get this one. Should be a touchdown. Well, pardon me. Still no signal from the ref. I think the referee's just signaling this one short.
And I thought from our angle that he was in there. It looked on his initial push that he was able to get in, but marked short again. And worth noting, this is a bit of an all-star crew of sorts in that the head official here today is Walt Becker, the head of officiating for BC High School football. That's number 56 in the white hat there. So it looks like they have about an inch, maybe 2, to move the football here on 3rd down.
And they're going to try one more time. 3 straight quarterback sneaks, and this one will not go for it. Now, it looked a bit closer on that last one, but this one definitely stuffed. And credit where it's due, tremendous job by the Vancouver College defensive line. Again, 3 straight quarterback sneaks and 3 straight no gains.
Yeah, you got to find a way to switch it up, and we can't hear what's going on down there on the field, but it looked like Vancouver College was all over the snap count there as well. But if you're a coach, again, on offense here, you need your offensive line to win. It was kind of a saw-off on the first 2 plays. The Mount Doug offensive line clearly got beat on that 3rd down play. Expect to see something different from Mount Doug here because another quarterback sneak at this point, especially with a few more inches to go here, would be Einstein's definition of insanity.
A timeout is called. They really want to think about this one, does Mount Doug. 2 minutes and 32 seconds. You know, Gord, when this drive started, you had mentioned they don't need a touchdown to really stay in this game. They just need something positive. Even if they manage to do something here and try to go for it on 4th down and don't make it, you're going to put Vancouver College into a incredibly bad field position. This might be just what they needed. I mean, I don't want to front sell or
predict the future.
Or predict the future here because, you know, they very well could score a touchdown. But in the event that they don't, mission accomplished for Mount Doug.
Yeah, you do get a bit of a momentum swing that your defense has to come back on the field with the right mentality. You know, they can't come onto the field with the, dang, we just missed our opportunity. They got to come onto the field with, okay, well, hey, we pinned these guys. We're going to get the ball and start at midfield to start our next drive, and we're back in scoring range already. So it'll be interesting to see should that happen, but look for some sort of a different look from Mount Doug here. The end play may ultimately be the same in that they've got so little space to gain here that they need to gain that they may just decide to play it safe and keep it in the quarterback's hands. But look, you're going to see shotgun here, so don't expect sneak, that's for sure.
You're exactly right. Well, would you look at that? They sneak it out of the shotgun, but they definitely crossed the plane on this one. And Well, as you mentioned, Gordon, it's the same philosophy, but a different look. They sneak it, but out of a different formation. And now it looks like we're going to have a tie game with a converted extra point.
Yeah, go back to the spread look, which is the basis of your offense there. Add that pass threat to it, and that's one of the things that, unfortunately, you kind of lose in goal line sets. Obviously, you can run play action out of it, but it stacks that box up just as much as you're stacking the box up. So the Rams go back to their bread and butter shotgun, 4 wide receivers, and they run the QB power right up the gut. Easy score for them.
We've seen some good play calling in this first period, in this first quarter, already, as the extra point is converted. It's number 23, Luciano Coombs, on the kick, and we have a tie game. But yeah, with 3 straight quarterback sneaks, not really going their way, and then you open it up, then you show a different look. On top of that, with Vancouver College, just great diversity in their play calling. This has been, some pretty good play calling in this first period.
Well, and this is what the Western Conference in BC high school football and AAA tends to look like on an annual basis. Lots of really strong offenses. You have these two. Obviously, you've got your spread up tempo with the Rams. That's been really successful for them. I think it's now up to 5 provincial championships in the last 5 years or something ridiculous like that. You got Vancouver College, the perennial power, the historical power. They run more of a power-based run attack, pro-style offense, as I mentioned. A lot of play action. You go to New West, who's also in the conference. They run a wing T offense, lots of misdirection, pulling offensive linemen. They run the ball all over the place too. Notre Dame has a fantastic offense with Dennis Kelly calling his offense out there, one of the legends in BC high school football. There's a more of a hybrid type offense. It's a really, really fun conference to watch because you rarely get truly low scoring games because the offenses are just too good.
I'm really excited for the next 3 quarters after that. All right, so kick off the Vancouver College. Going to get this one back as Mount Doug scored on their first possession as well. Nice deep kick right into the middle of the field. It's going to be fielded by Deshaun Johnson. Johnson to his right. He's got a wall of blockers. Shakes one tackle. Pardon me. He's taken down right around that 20-yard line. 20-yard line exactly.
Number 3, O'Shan Thomas on the tackle there on special teams. He's also starting linebacker for the Rams. And it'll be interesting to see where Vancouver College starts this drive, if they want to get the quick passing game going again, if they want to continue to pound things on the ground. Looks like Johnson staying in the game, more of the power runner to start, at least for College, and we'll see how they bounce back. I keep wanting to call them the Golden Domers. They're not wearing Golden Domes this week. They're wearing brand new ones, slick-looking purple buckets today with some gold chrome stripes on them.
Yes, slick is the word. They look nice.
Expensive was another one that came on.
It's a quarterback draw. It looks like they got the option play and a rough tackle there, but a 5-yard gain is picked up. First down and 5. Looks like number 15 on the carry, Duke Wilson. Yeah, those jerseys are nice. One of the first things that I noticed when I got to the field here.
It's a really sharp color combination, the purple and gold, and obviously, growing up in this area, that's something that is just synonymous with excellence in high school football around here, and it's always good to be at this facility watching this team play some football, love them or hate them.
2nd and 6, a 2-by-1 formation, man in motion, and it's going to be run up the middle. It's Deshaun Johnson once again. First down is gained. As you mentioned, Gord, a bit of a power back there, able to drag 2 Mount Doug players with him to cross those sticks.
Good little misdirection there with the motion. This is something you'll see Andy Reid use a lot of in the NFL. He'll motion, and Sean McVay as well. They'll motion guys across the formation to mislead the defense one way or the other. You see Hayder Zadeh motioning from left to right, and the quarterback faking to him on the jet, and then going back the other direction to Johnson. Really effective little misdirection for second-level defenders to put them in conflict.
1st and 10, another 2-by-1. A quick out and a great catch there. Looks like they're going to actually call that one incomplete, pardon me. It'll be 2nd and 10. That's number 21, Aparsha Hayder Zeta, who almost came down with that one.
And worth noting, you are seeing number 14, Jackson Soriano, appearing to play quarterback here for the Irish, as opposed to Nivett. Interesting for them to go to the 2 different quarterbacks here early on, and Soriano just a little bit off on that pass, led his guy just a little bit too much.
Soriano in once again. He's going to hand this one off. Johnson straight up the middle. Met right away. Looks like number 1. meets him on that. 6-yard gain, though, only about a 3rd and 4 upcoming for Van College.
And that Vancouver College offensive line I talked about off the top, doing their work early on here. Deshaun did not get touched until he was about 6 yards downfield already. And if that's what's going to happen for the afternoon, it is going to be a lengthy afternoon for the Mount Douglas defense. They're going to have to find a way to plug up those holes and get bodies on the running back closer to the line of scrimmage than that, or they will not be very successful this afternoon.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't touched until about, he was smacked by number 7, Jackson Reed, on that last one. 3rd and 3, another man in motion. Off the snap, Mount Douglas is sending a lot, but Van College able to escape this one. Big gain here, a really big gain. Finally tackled once again by Jackson Reed, number 14, Jason Soriano. As you mentioned, Gord, just subbed into this game, but using his legs there, it was about a 20-yard pickup.
And Soriano officially listed as a running back for the Irish, so not a surprise to see him keep and take off the ball there, and he can scoot off of a similar motion look from what they had before. College sees a bunch of pressure coming up the gut, and Soriano is able to make one man miss on the edge, and that was the only guy between him and a big gain.
Yep, Mount Doug sending everybody right up the middle on that one, and we just reached the end of the first quarter here. It's a tie game. Both teams scoring on their opening possessions, and Van College is marching. You're watching this game on SportsCanada.TV. It's Game of the Week. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Alice Garrigan.
And I would be Gord Randall. One of the things that's nice about that Vancouver College rushing attack being run-based is it makes things move along pretty quickly.
That's
that
true.
First quarter really flew by, hey? But both those offenses, I mean, Vancouver College drives 80 yards for their score. Mount Doug drives 70 yards back for their score. Been, like I said, a lot of offense in this game already, despite the scoreline only being 7-7, and it's shaping up to be a good game this afternoon.
You know, Gord, you've made a lot of good points in this game, and I like that one with the running clock, the running game. Of course, this game is just speeding along, especially with Van College with possession right now. That could lead into, an advantage for them later on in this one. But one thing that we also did notice is it's a hot day, and we expected a bit more rain today. Mount Doug has the shade, so that's something that I'll be looking for closer to the 3rd and 4th quarter. But right now, this rushing attack is really working for Van College. You can tell that they're trying to grind, they're trying to wear Mount Doug down, and I mean, it's early. So far, it's working.
Yep, very much so. And I like Soriano, the extra element he brings there. Probably why they've gone to him. He's more of a runner himself.
Case in point, here's Soriano starting to the right, cutting to the left. This could be a touchdown. It is. Soriano, what a gain on that play. About I want to call it a 35-yard gain, and it is a touchdown.
And so you can see why College switched quarterbacks early on there. They wanted more of a run threat from their quarterback, and as an offensive coach myself, I can tell you, like, that adds such an important extra element to your offense if you have a quarterback who's a legitimate run threat, which, as he just proved, Soriano very much is.
Yep, sorry, like you mentioned, he's listed as a running back, is Soriano, and the crowd is fully into it here as Van College is going to take another lead. And just an electric run as well, starting to his right, finishing on the left. Extra point, almost blocked, but it is up and good. Solid effort by number 10, Lyndon Williams, but we've got a 14-7 game.
Quite the boot there as that one went out into the surrounding neighborhood here. Got to be careful hitting these $2 million homes around here.
Right? Yeah, he almost hit a window up there. Well, Mount Doug's going to get this one back. They had some success with their spread offense. They were able to run that one in just from the 1-yard line after about 4 tries, but they still managed to make it. And now Van College is going to hand the ball right back to them.
And I know we have strict gun control in this country, but this game's looking like a shootout this afternoon nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to use that one. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. I just made that up, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to write that one down.
And a beautiful mind over here, I guess.
I think they're actually, we got a small delay in the game here. I think they actually have to get the ball back.
It looks like they
into
do.
the field here. But it also gives both coaches a quick chance to talk over their squads. Of course, Van College, lots of positive stuff going around. And Mount Doug, I mean, they're down by 7, but they've only had 1 possession in this game. We want to see how they respond to this.
Well, and you can see, like, I was talking to Mount Doug head coach Mark Townsend a couple weeks ago. We played them in junior varsity, so I was able to speak with him a little bit and ask him about how things were going. And he said, you know, we lost a lot of stars to graduation, and we're still trying to figure out who our guys are. And they're going to have to grow up in a hurry here this afternoon.
Kickoff fielded cleanly around the 10-yard line. Not a lot of space, slightly high tackle in that regard. He is brought down around the 28-yard line. I believe that was number 51 getting himself off the field, Dennis Stasinopoulos.
And what you're going to see there on the penalty call is you're going to see a horse collar. Now, they've expanded the definition of a horse collar in the last couple of years. It used to be that a horse collar was just a true from behind, grab the collar, either the jersey or the shoulder pads, so that a guy kind of gets choked on his way down. Now, anything up around the neck in the shoulder area where a guy's pulled down by that upper shoulder neck area can qualify as a horse collar. That one fitting that definition pretty clearly, and you can see how violent that jerking motion is on the player's upper body when they are tackled like that. Not that there's anything malicious to it. It's just a hard football play and a guy kind of grabbing him in the wrong spot, but something that they're trying to work out of the game because of the level of hazard to the players.
A bit more of a bad luck play than a malicious play on that one. Yeah, because there was that big yank there, but it seemed a little too low for the face mask. And here we are with 1st and 10, 3 to the right, and another quick screen pass. It's a one-hopper. This one should be incomplete.
And Swift pretty upset with himself, and rightfully so. You set up those quick screen games, as I mentioned earlier, as a comfortable, easy completion for your quarterback to see what you can get. And he almost bounced one earlier. That one actually did bounce before getting to Joe Lucas. And with that short, quick passing game, you need to be able to complete those consistently in order for it to be an effective part of your attack.
Incomplete by Smith on the last one. Here's a 2nd down, 3 to the right. Smith rolling to his right, throwing it up for an out route. It's complete. Right around the 48-yard line. Looks like number 6, Glenn Rose with the catch. I'll have to get a better look at that, but clearly about a 7-yard gain. And a good answer back by the Mount Doug Rams.
And you're seeing more and more of this in high school level ball these days. Sprint out passing. What it does for your quarterback makes it an easier read, cuts the field in half, and allows him to not have to read as many defenders when he's determining who to throw to. It also gets the defenders moving side to side, and that can sometimes have them trickle out of their zones a little bit. So it's a very effective part of an attack. Mount Doug runs quite a bit of that, so keep your eye on that as he sprints out to one side or the other, usually to the right.
An I formation here, something close to a goal line. Smith with the play action, heaves it deep. He's got a man over the shoulder, cannot make the grab. That is number 7, Jackson Reed, and a flag will come out.
And it looked like Reed there lost that in the sun a little bit. Lots of air underneath the ball, and he kind of slowed down anticipating it and then realized he had to speed up, and it just went through his grasp. There was also a little bit of a tug at the end of the play there. I think they're going to nab College for play action here. That was a little borderline to me. I got to be honest with you. I thought that was maybe a little soft. If I'm Vancouver College, I'm not a huge fan of that call.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that Jackson maybe losing that in the sun, backing up and speeding up for it, causing a little bit of conflict there.
Now, you will notice that pass interference, a 15-yard penalty at this level, not a spot foul as you see in the pros. So not as backbreaking as it might have been at another level of football, but still a huge penalty.
Yep, still not great for Van College, as Mount Doug is now going to get a 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Handoff right up the middle, a couple tackles broken there. Really good effort by the Mount Doug running back. Should be about a 9-yard carry. I want to call that number 23. Let's get a quick look on that.
24, I think.
24,
Primo.
Yeah. Primo again with a Primo carry.
Very much so. And Mount Doug, I've seen a few different looks from them. You noted them going back to the eye on that last play action play. They seem to be rolling on offense this afternoon as well. It'll be interesting to see. This game's going to come down to which defenses can adjust better quicker on the afternoon.
Bit more of a tradition. Ooh, I got a tight end in for Mount Doug. A little unconventional, but they're going to hand this one right up the middle. It's Primo again. And we saw some great play out of the Van College defensive line for that first series, and here they are once again. Only needed 2 yards, couldn't get it. Could Mount Doug?
No, just a hair short of the marker. You'll see them marked right on the 25-yard line there, and it looks like they need about the 24.5 for their first down. So pretty short yardage here with 3rd down and an extra play. I mean, this is very much the type of offense you're not going to kick on 4th and short. So you are calling for 2 plays right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mount Doug try to get a bigger chunk than just a couple inches on this particular play. Granted, the way that last goal line stand went, maybe they will play it safe and just make sure that they can move the sticks here.
Here they are moving some players closer to the front of the line. Out of the eye back, Primo may have just gotten it, but solid effort by number 73 there, Simon Smith, for getting into the backfield. Great penetration by Smith.
Just a straight-up B-gap power out of the I formation there for Mount Doug. And as I was mentioning before the play, they do play it a little safer there with their struggles in short yardage previously. They just want to make sure they move the sticks so they can keep their offense on the field for sure.
Mission accomplished for Mount Doug as they do move those sticks. 1st and 10. Now back to the spread formation. 2 receivers aside for Smith. Just a 1-step drop pump fake. 5-step, heaves it up once again, and an interception made. Clean pick, number 14, Soriano, already rushing for a touchdown today. Now he's got an interception. I mean, we're not even at halftime. Soriano already trying to make himself player of the game.
And that's a situation where a quarterback gets guilty of anticipating a guy open rather than actually seeing him open. They run the wheel play there, and Swift wanted it all on that, so he threw the wheel despite the fact that he had under coverage from the corner with Soriano flying over from the middle of the field as well. And with it being slightly underthrown, you also have to have that ball tight to the sideline. If you are throwing that type of route, it's slightly underthrown. It gives Soriano space to come down with it. If you're a quarterback, you want to put that ball in a place where either your guy can catch it or it falls harmlessly out of bounds.
1st and 10 for Van College. They're starting in their own end zone. Johnson able to get this one out up to the 10-yard line. And they're going to get themselves out of the shadow of their own end zone at least. With still some more work to be done for Van College. But again, it's
huge play there. Huge play there to get that much breathing room when you are right up on your own goal line. And now the Vancouver College can open up its entire playbook and get their stuff going.
Right back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down. Neivold's back in. And he's going to be taken down. And a sack made there. The other 73 for Mount Douglas. Pardon me, I don't have a 73 on the roster. We'll get back to you on that one.
13 we got, it looks like, according to the in-stadium. That'll be Cole Bunting. Nivett back in, the less mobile of the 2 quarterbacks, but that's a mistake you really want to avoid in that position of the field. As you can see, Vancouver College marked all the way back almost to where they started at their own 5-yard line here in that position of the field. Taking a sack is something you really want to avoid, even more so than usual.
There's another run straight up the middle. And some good effort by number 22 for Van College. Looks like they are going to pick up the 1st down. Sticks moved once again, get themselves out of a trouble situation here.
Jaden Chong getting just enough for the 1st down there, and a good job by the Vancouver College front line. As you can see from this angle, they've run right at us twice here on this drive, Alex. You can see the size of the holes that these guys are able to create with their physicality and size up front.
1st down and 10. Looks like they are at their own 14-yard line. Neivold pitches this one out. And Chung is able to pick up a modest gain on this one. Another tackle made, number 7 on that play.
Worth keeping an eye on the 2 defensive tackles for Mount Doug. Both big boys. Nelson Way, 78 at 6'3", 270. Jacob Dorr, 79 at 6'2", 280. But both of those players in grade 10 right now, they're actually juniors. So monsters in a couple of years. They're pretty big dudes already, and you better believe our JV team struggled to block those guys. But something to keep an eye on as they're playing against older, more physically developed players in a lot of cases, and it'll be interesting to see how they hold up over the course of the afternoon against a very powerful rushing attack.
2nd and 5. Neivold on the bootleg. He's going to throw this one out. He's got a man, and a tackle made right off the bat. Good little play design there. Number 12 on the catch, Colin Delinsky. Just want to go back to those defensive tackles there as well. I mean, I'd call them monsters now, especially at grade 10s. Only playing against some of the older competition is only going to make them more solid football players when they become seniors.
Very much so. You can see a significant step down in size on the Mount Douglas defensive line past those 2. With just 79 on the field and not 78 right now.
Johnson with a huge carry up the middle, breaks 3 tackles. He's got so much space in front of him. Johnson's going to break free on a stiff arm, and Vancouver College goes up by 2 touchdowns. What a run by Johnson. He took that one from his own 25-yard line. Easy, a 75-yard run.
And this type of ball game this afternoon, that's where every offensive mistake just gets magnified. The offensive mistake by Mount Doug that stalls their drive, turning the ball over, and then the way things are going, it's going to be a struggle to stop anybody this afternoon. So now they've put themselves in a bit of a hole. They're going to have to claw their way back out of pretty quickly here, and they've got to find a way to stop the rushing attack from Vancouver College, because they have been able to pass somewhat effectively, but they haven't really needed to thus far this afternoon.
I know it's a bad pun, but Van College running away with this one so far. 21-7, 6 minutes to go in the opening half. Now, Mount Douglas, they had a modest drive on their last one, but ending with an interception. A great play by Soriano, of course, but, could have been a little bit of a better throw on that one as well. What does Mount Doug need to do on this drive to really get themselves back into the game?
They just need to limit their mistakes. I liked their play calling, the mix of run and pass the last time out. They need to limit their mistakes, and the big thing is they know they've got a lot of time left in the game. They can't force stuff downfield. They need to just do their thing. There's 6 minutes left in the half already. We talked about this game moving along quickly. There's 6 minutes left in the half. If you make this a 21-14 game at the half, well, you're a lot happier, especially given that you will start with the ball in the second half. So that's what you need to have in your mind right now as Mount Doug, is find a way to get 7 points back before the halftime break, one way or another, whether it's 2 quick scores for you and just 1 for the other side, or a little bit longer of a drive to eat up the remainder of this clock and make sure that Vancouver College can't punch one in again. Whatever it is that you need to do, you want to try and claw this back to a 1-score game by the half, because you're getting the ball back, and all of a sudden that's more or less, you're thinking that's now a tie game.
Well, Mount Doug will receive this one. Good kickoff here. And another clean field. Straight up the middle. Looking to his left, number 23. Luciano Coombs again on the return. And modest field position for Mount Douglas to try and get this one back.
You can see one of the things Vancouver College has always been stereotypical of is that they are always so well organized, and they do not screw up. They don't have any major screw ups. There are no weaknesses to their game. They have more players on their roster than the average high school roster. I counted 39 players dressed today. That's a pretty sizable roster. They always have effective specialists in the kicking game, and you can see their special teams are always tight and well organized as well.
Now, 39 players dressed gives you a lot of opportunity to move players in and out of the lineup. Blitz coming, Nivalt to his left, interception! What a play by the Van College defense. Looks like number 20, Jackson Finley. He didn't have far to go, but a great read by Finley to step up on that one.
And that was a really good read by Finley, and this is the quick passing game. You've got to have your receivers be able to block effectively on those edge defenders to be able to open it up. You get a slot receiver flashing on the block there, your quarterback doesn't see it, and when you get an interception right at the line of scrimmage like that, that's an easy pick six most of the time. Sure enough, Finley just able to walk right in to the end zone for the extra 6 points there, and this is just about worst case scenario for Mount Doug. Giving up another quick score here to go down by 3.
Oh, yeah, this is the complete opposite of what we were talking about for Mount Doug to try and get back into this game. And now Van College looking to kick this point to make a 28-7 lead. And a flag comes down here.
And the biggest thing you have to do if you're Mount Doug right now, we've seen Hunter Swift demonstratively be pretty upset at himself a couple of times here. You need to find ways, whether it's speaking to him. Right now it appears they're just giving him some space for a minute, giving him some easy throws, maybe his favorite plays, whatever, running the ball. You need to find a way to calm your guy down, because he's now made a couple of mistakes in a row, and those things can snowball pretty quickly for a young player.
Oh, yeah, confidence is big, and when you don't have it. And now this kick is good, but Mount Doug has gotten really close to blocking these kicks the last 2 in a row. Lyndon Williams just flies off the edge on that one.
Yeah, and that did affect the kick. You can see the low line drive kick, and probably necessarily low line drive, because I think he might have blocked it had that been a little higher. It looked like it just went right under his arms. And impressive effort from Vancouver College so far this afternoon, both sides of the ball. And you're a traffic guy over at 7:30. It's kind of been one-way traffic on this field this afternoon. Might be time to open a counterflow lane in the other direction.
This is a one-way street right now for Van College, but there's still plenty of time left. We've seen a lot that we do like out of Mount Doug. They are still in this game, but man, it's it seems that just the last 2-3 minutes in particular has really swung for Van College. I want to go back to that interception, too, because as you mentioned, the slot receiver didn't seem to get a quick jam. Finley was just in the backfield so quickly on that one.
And a good chunk of that is recognition, putting his foot in the ground and attacking aggressively upfield by Finley. It's a very good play by the defensive back. If you are the offensive coach, you want your guy to at least get a piece of him so he can't cleanly run up through the line of scrimmage like he did there.
Line drive by Vancouver College is going to go out the back of the end zone. No clean reception for Coombs here. Also, number 11, Cal Harris, is going to fish that one out.
And that's one of the theoretical drawbacks of some of these spread offenses, especially a lot of the horizontal passing that you see as bread and butter stuff for them, is that you are relying quite a bit on guys whose body types aren't designed for blocking to be effective blockers for you. And Mount Doug has long been very good at it, but there isn't a receiver out there who suits up and signs up to be a wide receiver because he wants to block defensive backs. There's nobody out there, so you have to convince those guys that this is important and this is how you get on the field and how we win.
A bunch to the left, but a run to the right. It's Primo with about a 6-yard gain, tackled from behind. Number 54 able to make that stop for the Vancouver College. That's Matt Hogue.
Now, you are in the same mode right now as Mount Doug. You cannot change your tack just because you're down an extra score here. Your thinking needs to be, we are going to eat up the majority of the rest of this clock. We're going to get our points on the board and get one back and make it closer at the half here.
2 straight runs for Mount Doug. They're clearly trying to chew this clock up. The first run worked for them. That one, not so much. Great work by the Van College defensive line. Possibly a 1-yard gain at the most, but I don't think that was a gain on the play. We'll get a 3rd and 3.
You can see pretty good size on the Mount Douglas offensive line, too. If you're Mount Doug, you want to try and keep some balance to your attack here.
Off of the snap. And a quick little outplay. Great catch there. Number 4 able to keep his toes in bound. Joe Lucas. Hunter Swift also great play on the rollout, and that will move the sticks.
So to connect the dots on a few of my previous points, I was talking about how you need to find a way to get your quarterback back into a rhythm and comfortable there. I also talked earlier on about the beauty of sprint out passing. It cuts the field in half, gives him some easier reads. You have 3 receivers coming to the sprint outside here, a high, low, and medium. He hits the medium on the high-low read there.
That's Primo with the carry. Only about a 3 or 4 yard carry. Big tackle there. It looks like Hunter Smith was able to, or Simon Smith, pardon me, able to make that tackle. And yeah, that's a very good point with the young quarterback trying to get the confidence up. You make him read half of the field as opposed to the whole field, and gives him some easier reads to work with.
Yeah, Simon Smith's been impressive. Probably the best big guy for the college on both sides of the ball at 6'4", 285 pounds in the interior of both lines.
Smith involved in that play as well. Primo with yet another carry. And once again, modest gain at the most, but probably, 2 to 3 yards on that one. 3rd and 4 coming up for Mount Doug.
Hey, another key 3rd down conversion for Mount Doug with just under 4 left here in the first half. They want to turn over the sticks a couple more times here to keep clock running and to continue to try and put points on the board, obviously.
Out of the shotgun, pump fake. Smith stepping up, has a man and a diving catch here. Looks like a clean catch was made, and they're going to give it to him as well. Number 10, Lyndon Williams, been trying to dive on those kickoffs, got in the practice, and a diving catch made.
Outstanding catch by Lyndon Williams there, and I really like what Hunter Swift did, extending the play, stepping up in the pocket, but keeping his eyes downfield to try and find a receiver open instead of having to earn that 4 yards he needed himself there.
There's Smith again, looking to his right, over to his next read, decides to scramble with it. And a good little move to pick up a couple extra yards, able to sift away from number 4, Marcus Teoli. But a 2nd down, Mount Doug.
And to extend on my previous point about Swift on that 3rd down play, that's one of the most difficult plays in football to stop, is when you get an effective pass rush or you flush the passer, but the passer extends the play, and now your defensive backs have to cover for a couple more seconds with everybody on the move. It can be really, really difficult, and you saw Lyndon Williams open up late there. Good job by Hunter Swift to find him.
There's Smith with the handoff. Primo, he's got a bit of a bigger hole this time. Some good pursuit on the first level. The flag is down. Looks like about a 4-yard carry on that one. Again, we're going to move past the point really quickly, but you're right when it comes to just defensive backs having to cover a little bit extra longer. Defensive lineman on a rush. Everybody's kind of got their timer in their head, about 4 to 5 seconds after that hits. Okay, so what's going on now? And in those moments, if a quarterback can still hang on to it and push it down the field, you can really have a dangerous play in your hands.
You can. It can be a bit of a double-edged sword, however, because you talk about how every player has an internal clock in their head. So do the offensive linemen. So you also can be more susceptible to taking a holding penalty in the backfield on those extended plays, especially when the quarterback is changing where he's located. Remember, the offensive lineman can't see where the quarterback is. They have to anticipate where he's going to be. And so when he changes location, those holds can come into play pretty quick.
Smith on the design quarterback draw. He's not going to get to the edge of the field. Second down on this one, and a good play by the Van College to sniff out that one. Again, looked like a designed run on that one.
And right now, safe to say, Vancouver College is winning this game up front on both sides of the ball. They're physically taking it to Mount Doug when they have the ball, and on the defensive side, they are able to get some pretty consistent penetration from their defensive line.
It has been consistent. That is the word for it, certainly. And now with a 2nd and 10, we'll see what Mount Doug does. They're down by 3 touchdowns here, but they are knocking on the doorstep. And another design quarterback run. Good little moves by Hunter Smith here.
That was actually Joe Lucas, number 4, a little bit of wildcat here from the Rams. And we talked about how Joe Lucas was their guy. He moves into the backfield there. We saw last week he will actually pass it, but that's usually a run-based look for Mount Doug. And you can see they've run the clock down to under 2 minutes here to go. A 3rd and 3 deep in Van College's, and this drive has been exactly to plan for the Mount Douglas Rams.
Yep, and that's what they needed too when that last drive just went absolutely opposite to the plan as an interception was run back.
You mean offensive coaches don't plan on that?
Not all the time.
Oh, okay.
Not all the time. Listen, we got I was going to say we have a timeout here. We don't. We have an injury. We have an injury up closer to the Mount Douglas sideline here.
I think they had actually called a timeout beforehand because I think I saw the timeout signal, and we can see coaches in both huddles. So I think there is actually an official timeout going on right now, but it does look like, and maybe that cramping that you talked about, it does look like a Mount Douglas player went down late there. Wouldn't surprise me if that might be what's going on here. Not that it's overly hot by an objective standard today, but it has been so cold and wet the last couple weeks that getting a temperature up even into the low 20s can feel a lot hotter and be tough to acclimatize to than usual.
See, that's just it, because we've had this cold weather all the way up to, and now it's not exceptionally hot, but it's exceptionally hot when compared to Monday to Friday, and that's probably what we're seeing. Yeah, and I thought I saw the timeout signal going through, so it looks like this is a bit more of an official one. So it just gives...
I mean, if it's not an actual timeout, you wouldn't see coaches in the huddle. They're not allowed to be in the huddles. So, you can see, I believe that's Ron Turner on the Vancouver College staff talking to his defense there, coming off the field right now. And you can see his assistant there, the man with probably the longest arms and biggest hands I've ever seen in my life, David Benefield, the longtime former BC Lions player who's helping coach the defensive line here. Look at the size of those mitts on him.
We got to go back to Mount Doug real quick, because that is Joe Lucas who's being helped up on the offensive side. That's the X factor we've been looking for, and that's not a good sign.
It does look like he's up and walking on the sideline with maybe just a slight limp in his gait. Again, would not surprise me if that's a cramp. We'll keep an eye to see whether he comes back. Certainly does not look like he'll be back in this first half based on him sitting on the trainer's table right now.
Well, there's only 1:44 left in the half. Primo's going to go to the right side, and he is dragged down. Guess who's involved on that one? Simon Smith.
I think he looks like he's a hair short here, and this is going to be a very key 4th down for Mount Doug at 4th and 2. So
tough one.
For me, this is an obvious call. You got to keep your offense on the field. I think it's a pretty easy call from that perspective for Mark Townsend, but what do you do here? You absolutely have to have this conversion. Stalling out here, even if Vancouver College maybe doesn't have the time to get all the way back down the field and add another, stalling out here would be pretty backbreaking for the Rams.
I mean, Van College only needs the one play from what we've seen as well, but you're completely right. They need to keep the offense out on the field. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing here.
They're taking quite a bit of time here.
Wonder where their play clock is. We're down to 50 seconds in the first half now. Probably going to be run this one all the way down. Hunter Smith in the eye back.
And now they're going to call a timeout. That's kind of what I thought we might see there.
That's the old go up to the line of scrimmage, get a couple fake counts, and hope that you can get the defense offside.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like miscommunication from Mount Doug or if it was deliberately that slow. It looked like they didn't even really give much of a hard count once they got up to the line.
Yeah.
But the one thing that they did do which makes me wonder if there was an element of purpose to that, is now the clock has run down to 43 seconds left in this half.
Yeah, it looks like they are really trying to work with bleeding out as much of that clock as possible, and just in the slim chance that this doesn't go their way.
Yep.
But they are prepping for.
That's coaching 101, right? Yep. You expect the best, but plan for the worst.
Right.
And the worst case scenario here is you guys get stuffed, so you plan for that by making sure that Vancouver College does not have enough time to get back down the field in the other direction.
It's game of the week between Mount Douglas Rams and the Vancouver College Fighting Irish, and what a game it's been. As we've mentioned, a little bit of a one-way street so far as Van College is going to lead this one 28-7. However, Mount Doug is in great position to put this one to a much more competitive game in the last few plays of the second half.
And look, you don't get to be as successful as Mount Douglas has been the last decade without being a resilient bunch that won't go away.
Out of the eye back, Hunter Smith is going to hand this one off. Primo trying to find the edge. He's got some blockers. He's got some space. Stiff arm on Johnson. And at the very least, he's got the first down on this one. Runs out of bounds, and he's going to stop the clock.
Like the play call there, it's short yardage, Vancouver College, thinking interior run, and you've been running primarily to the interior so far today as well with your zone type run. That time, very much an edge attack, the toss to the edge with a lead blocker. Really, really strong play call from Mark Townsend in the Mount Doug offense there, and they are threatening here with 35 left in the half.
35, first and goal from the 5. Smith stepping up, trying to shake a few tacklers. He's going to get to the 1 yard line. Doesn't look like he gets out of bounds to stop the clock, though. 2nd and 1.
Mount Doug's going to try and squeeze in another play here. They do, I believe, have a timeout left, at least, but they can move quickly when they need to, and that's what they're doing here.
15 seconds to go, and running. Smith bobbles the handoff, or does he? Looks like Primo is going to bring this one in. Oof, that one had me a little concerned there, but Primo able to secure that one, and it looks like we have a touchdown.
And we are back to that drive going exactly as planned with Mount Doug. They get the score they need with 11 seconds left on the clock, and at this point in time, you've got to stop the kick return, and you've got to stop probably one play on offense, and with that little time left, wouldn't be surprised unless they get a big return to see Vancouver College just kneel it out and happily go to the room with a 14, 15-point lead, depending on how this kick goes.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of adjustments they're going to make at the halftime, but as you mentioned, that is going exactly according to plan for Mount Doug, which is just what they needed after the last series, let's just say, didn't go straight up according to plan.
Yeah, and when we talk about halftime adjustments, if you're Vancouver College, not a lot to adjust on the offensive side of the ball. You just tell your guys, you just keep getting after it and continue to wear these guys down up front, because it'll get easier as the afternoon progresses if that's what you keep doing.
And with the extra point converted, it is officially a 28-14 lead for the Van College Fighting Irish, as Mount Doug is able to capitalize on that one.
Hey, and an impressive bounce back from Hunter Swift. We said he had a couple tough throws in a row there. They got him a throw early on, clearly something he's comfortable with, rolling out to one side or the other. We saw him extend plays, make some good throws downfield on extended plays, run the ball himself. They mixed in Joe Lucas there. I mean, you can see all the different ways that Mount Douglas can attack you in this offensive system. And but I've got to give big credit to number 5 out there, really gutting it out after a couple of mistakes. It's hard to overstate how difficult that can be for a teenage football player to shake off those kinds of mistakes in a big game.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's tough for a lot of football players to shake that off, but you're completely right. After how we saw him a little dejected on the sideline after those drives just really didn't go their way. But yeah, to come back and respond like that, you're completely right, Gord. That is definitely commendable for number 5, Hunter Smith.
And so if you are Vancouver College at the half here, when you're talking about possible adjustments, after scoring 28 in the first half, you're focusing on the defensive side of the ball, and maybe you're assigning somebody to keep an eye on Swift and try and corral him. Not necessarily so much because he's a dynamic runner, but because right now he's shown this ability to extend plays and make your life more difficult in the back end. Now, Vancouver College traditionally does not bring a ton of pressure. They like to try and create pressure from their strength up front on the defensive line. You'll see 5-man pressure. You won't see a lot of 6 or 7, but maybe they might be able to pull a guy out of coverage to spy or add on to the blitz package when they see the quarterback extending plays. That might be something they could adjust at the half. And
a low squib kick here, fielded by Van College. and they're just going to take this knee. Only 8 seconds left to go. Looks like that's exactly what's going to happen here, possibly a knee. I could see Vancouver College being very content with the score the way it is, with the game the way it is. Let's just get the
I would expect a kneel
half
here to Coach Todd Burnett, not even looking at his play calling sheet right now. So I suspect that's probably what's going to go on. And a smart decision by Mount Doug there on the kickoff. That is a Deshaun Johnson decision there, making sure to squib kick it and keep it out of the hands of big number 2. Vancouver College isn't even going to wait for Mount Doug to get set up here. They're just going to take their knee and go into the half with about 4 Rams lined up on the field.
Well, it's still going to count. You're going to do what you're going to do. And you look at that, they're heading their way to the sideline right now. What a first half we had. 2 opening drives converted for Mount Doug and Van College. But after that, I mean, figuratively and literally, Van College started to run away with it. Not to say that Mount Doug is out of this game. Not at all. Not at all. But Van College just put a great start to this one. 28-14 is your score.
Got to find a way to make a stop if you're the Rams. They have not stopped the Vancouver College offense yet today, and that was fine when they were trading shots with them, but now those couple mistakes on defense have put them behind the 8 ball. They will get the ball back to start the half here. It's going to be in a game like this critical for them to put, I'm not even going to just say gain yards here. It's going to be critical for them to put a score on the board right now based on the tone of this ball game so far this afternoon.
I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I think that's a great thing to end on. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the second half of football at SportsCanada.TV. Gord Randall and Alice Kerrigan with the game for you. Of course, it's Van College and Mount Douglas, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, football fan. Here we are live at O'Hagan Field. The players are taking the field once again. This is the game of the week.
I think I heard football fan there. I was picturing the clip from Family Guy with the WNBA. Let's go to the fan, yay. Hopefully there's more than one of you out there listening to this broadcast.
Yeah, hello, fan. Broadcasting 101, talk to the one person. But let's focus here at SportsCanada.TV. It is game of the week. As you may already know, this game is 28-14 in favor of Vancouver College. Mount Douglas is going to receive the opening kickoff. They're doing the stretch right now, but Van College has really opened up this game. They've hit all the notes that they wanted to hit. They've got a strong running game. They've really opened it up on defense as well. I mean, are there any halftime adjustments that you make as Van College?
On the offensive side, I would say not a lot. We saw both quarterbacks getting involved effectively. Soriano more the runner, though, with the ability to pass, and then Nivett more the passer with the ability to run if he absolutely has to. So those two bringing two different faces to the offense. But the big thing, as I mentioned late in the half, you're really winning this game up front right now, and you know, that's kind of been the Vancouver College formula for a lot of years, is if you can saddle up your big boys and win the game up front. They are always one of the hardest teams in the province to face in the trenches. They're always big, they're always strong, and they run a good system to maximize those abilities. So that's what you can lean on as the Vancouver College Fighting Irish. And worth pointing out too, doesn't hurt that their two offensive line coaches this year for Vancouver College were Kelly Bates, who is now the BC Lions offensive line coach, and now Brian Chu, who was the BC Lions offensive line coach. They just switched places. So Brian Chu, you can see him down there on the sidelines talking to one of his guys right now, the Vancouver College alumnus and longtime CFL center. Not a bad guy to be learning the position from.
Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up because, there's a lot of prestige on that offensive line coach as well. As we are getting the second half underway, Coombs is going to field this one right at his own 2-yard line, taking this up to the right-hand side. He's got a little bit of a crease to work with, not much, but about a 25-yard gain on the pickup for Mount Doug. I also wanted to mention Luciano Soriano. He has a running touchdown, about a 20 to 30-yard touchdown there, and an interception. He's had a great game so far. On top of that, we have a 65-yard run from Deshaun Johnson. Got some impact players for Van College, but for Mount Doug, we saw one of their top players, Joe Lucas, go out with a cramp early in the second half, or late in the first half, pardon me. So we'll see how they respond here.
And it looks like he's out there for this first play in the second half, which confirms our suspicion that was probably just a cramping issue. Worth keeping an eye on here as the half progresses.
Good little play there by Primo. It looks like he bobbled that one. Oh, pardon me, that's number 30, Jordan Clark.
And I alluded to this earlier. Jordan Clark listed at just 5'5", 135. And he looks like, we talk about men amongst boys, he kind of looks like a boy amongst men out there. He's in grade 12 too, so interesting to see the diminutive Clark being a pretty key part of the Mount Doug offense.
A pitch out to the left. It's Primo. He's going to be brought down from behind. Jersey tackle there made. Number 45, Dimitri Grigg on the tackle. Primo has been the de facto number one halfback for Mount Doug. We've seen a couple good carries from him. Another one there.
Yeah, for sure. And Mount Doug trying to establish the ground attack early on here, and they've got themselves into a pretty manageable 3rd and 2 situation for them.
Here it is, 3rd and 2. 3 receivers to the right. It's going to be a run to the left. Now Primo, it'll be brought down behind the line of scrimmage on this one. It's number 54 on the tackle, Matt Hogue.
That is an outstanding play as well, again, by number 45, Dimitri Grigg, as he collapses the hole. They look like they wanted to hit that between the guard and tackle on the left side of the offense there. 45 collapsed that hole, pushed his tackle back into the hole, and then when the running back tried to bounce it outside, he was able to detach from the block and make the play himself. Everything you could want from a defensive end there.
Thought they were going for it on 4th down. No, Swift is going to kick this one out of the shotgun formation. No man to return it. So a pretty good setup here by Mount Doug. Unfortunately, stalling out a 4 and out on that last drive. However, after the punt, they're going to give this back to Van College. You know what, pardon me, Van College has pretty good field position here. They're going to start this at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and that's something Mount Doug will make pretty regular use of. If they do want to kick, they'll just quick kick and keep their offense in the game. That does not mean they don't have a traditional punt team, but unless they're in a long yard situation where it's a clear punt, they do like to keep their offense on the fields. And you see how that helps in that it just about eliminates the threat of any kind of return on the other end.
Especially when you have guys like Deshaun Johnson back there who can run it back. Yeah, you probably don't want to line up right off the bat and show them that you're going to be punting. Yeah, pretty good formation there out of Mount Doug. So with that said, the Van College Fighting Irish going to start on their own 35-yard line.
And you can see behind the play here, Peter Primo, that's the starting running back for the Mount Douglas Rams, is down. He went down late again. They appear to be looking at his lower body. Who knows? Maybe another one of those cramp issues. It looks like they're working his knee. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is a joint issue or a muscle issue for him.
Now, I'm hoping that we don't see much more of this, but it is something that we talked about right off the bat with the weather change coming into Saturday. Primo looks like he's going to get up. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Looks like he's putting a bit of weight on that right leg, which it's a good sign. But, we're hoping not to see this. But, yeah, cramping is going to be a pretty apparent issue in the third and fourth quarter. These players got to stay hydrated.
They do. Mount Doug, interesting, they didn't bother even going to the dressing room at the half. They stayed over there on their sideline in the shade and did their halftime adjustments over there. Roster size shouldn't come into effect here too much. Mount Doug's got 33 guys dressed as well today, but they've been the ones feeling the heat so far at least.
Nyvolt, 5-step drop, throws this one deep. A little bit of an underthrow, but a great jumping catch by Van College. I'm going to say number 3. It is number 3 on the grab. It's Ocean Thomas. And about a 30, 40-yard pickup on that play. Definitely a first down for Van College.
Really good play by the receiver there with tight coverage from number 11, Kai Harris, and number 7, Jackson Reed there to come up there, grab the ball, and hold on as the defensive back came in with his hand to try and knock it loose.
Quick back to the line, man in motion. It's Johnson, about a 5-yard carry on this one. 2nd and 5 for Van College. This drive is only about 3 or 4 plays old, but Van College is rolling.
Yeah, I really like the play call to start the half from Coach Todd Burnett there, going for a big play to make sure that they snuff out any ideas that Mount Doug might have that they're going to turn the tide in this game. And now they are in business again, up 14 and already on the Mount Douglas 30-yard line.
Yep, great point. Already up by 14 and now 30 yards away from going up by 21. Nyvolt is going to take a 3-step drop, throws the slant, and it's popped up. That's Ocean Thomas once again unable to make that grab.
As good as Josh Limtong was on his last reception, that one probably one he wanted to have back. There was a hand in the throwing lane. That can be difficult for a receiver when you just see a white hand flash across just as the ball's coming through. So even though it got through to him cleanly, he was not able to track that one and haul it in. Ball bounces over his head and harmlessly to the turf behind him.
That was Josh Lumtong. My apologies on that one. After the handoff, it's Deshaun Thompson brought down at number 50. That one, Enrique Del Alcazar. And maybe a 1-yard gain at the most. 4th and 4 coming up for Van College.
Yeah, Enrique Del Alcazar really rallying up quickly on the backside of that play and to track down Deshaun Johnson on the backside's an impressive play. Really got to point out the front side, though. There wasn't a ton of push for Vancouver College on the front side there. Forced Johnson to cut back into the unblocked defender. A big stop for Mount Doug. Now Vancouver College appears to be keeping the offense on the field here again, 4th and 3. Again, I like the aggressiveness in this situation.
Out of the eye back, they only need 4. It's a 3-step drop. He'll be brought down.
And another big play by Del Alcazar. He timed up the snap there and shot right through the A-gap. A huge momentum swinging play potentially here for the Mount Douglas Rams.
Oh, you're extremely right about that, Gord. You cannot undersell that enough. That's a huge 4th down play by Mount Douglas. Good little play call with the 3-step drop. They were looking for a bit of an ISO matchup near the bottom, but no way they could take advantage of it with how quickly Del Alcazar was in the back. That is going according to plan for the Mount Doug defense.
For sure, and Todd Burnett on the sideline here for Van College. You're just reinforcing to Nivett that he's been doing a really good job out there. Bad plays happen sometimes. That's the kind of psychologist you have to be as a high school coach at times.
Hunter Swift A pass is complete to Joe Lucas, and a flag is down. This one's probably going to go against the Van College Fighting Irish.
Yeah, it looked like a hand up around the face there. Now, I didn't see a tug, so you may see the 5-yard variety here of face mask. No, they are going to call 15.
Ooh.
Yeah, he is signaling for the personal foul, so that'll be up 15. We did see a hand around the face there. It looked like he let go pretty quickly, so I thought they might get away with just the 5-yard version, but the referees determined that there was a bit of a grasp there, and that will get you 15 anyway. You cannot touch a ball carrier in the head in any way, shape, or form. There's the 2 different versions of that penalty, but as soon as that happens, there's not a lot of complaining that you can do.
Yep, 4-yard.
Despite the 2 or 3 people on the Man College sidelines throwing their hands up there.
There was a bit of dispute to that one after a quick screen play. Big play, number 4. Marcus Teoli sniffed out the screen. Nice little play design by Mount Doug, but again, heads-up play by the Van College defensive back.
You know, I'm taking a look down. I'm wondering if there was another offensive lineman who was supposed to release to lead block on that, because that was one blocker, 55, Jackson McEwen, against 2 defenders, and the second defender rallied up and made a pretty easy play there. So I wonder if there may have been a bit of a bust from one of the Mount Douglas offensive linemen who was supposed to help out and add an extra body there.
Second down, 3 receivers to the right. Swift looks to his right, throws another slant, jumping catch made, and 3 Van College players converge on number 10, Lyndon Williams. A flag appears to be down in the backfield. It's about an 8-yard pickup.
And based on the brief conversation I just saw between him and one of the officials, that one's going to go on number 30, Jordan Clark, trying to help his offensive line with the pickup there. They're going to nab him for the hold. and I know what he's saying. He's basically saying, how can I get the holding penalty when I basically just got railroaded and hung on for my life as I got dropped onto my backside? And fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
But, I mean, that's what it's going to be. That's how the call's going to go. A call going for Mount Douglas, and then a call going against Mount Douglas. Here is going to be a 2nd and 15. A deep field position here for Mount Doug.
You can see Mount Douglas, I talked about their spread offense. You can see how their offense gets the signals. The entire offense watches the signaler. They all know what the play is. That's good. It cuts down on communication issues.
Deep pass will be just dropped. One-on-one matchup there. That's Joe Lucas. Looks like he was going up against number 1, K'Juan Johnson. Pardon me, I need the pronunciation on that again. K'Juan Johnson.
Yeah, I think number 6, Tim Choi in the vicinity there too. Good battle between the receiver and defenders there, and a good job by the Vancouver College secondary to make sure that one falls harmlessly to the turf.
Also pretty good play by the Van College defensive line. They broke penetration really quick. Swift had to throw that one off of his back foot. Looks like we got Swift lining up as a receiver. 4-by-1 set here. Picked up by Lucas, and Lucas will run this one only back to the original line of scrimmage.
Number 55, the main offensive line guy, just in grade 11 for Mount Doug. That's Jackson McEwen, 6'5", 295. Love seeing that kind of girth moving in space as they get him to lead block out on the edge for the second play in a row. When you have a guy who's that big and can move that well, to be able to get him on the edge like that, that can be a really big weapon for you up front.
Oh, yeah, you take advantage of that when you have it. But now a 4th and 9. An interesting play call here. Probably going to be, yes, the punt is off. But this time Soriano back for it. It's going to take a little bit of a Van College bounce, not much of one. This is still going to be just shy of the 15-yard line.
And you can see how big that previous 4th down stop was for Mount Doug. I suspect if that's a 21-point game, that they keep the offense on the field there, and they do not feel comfortable punting. But they did get the stop last time, so they're going to play it safe here and hope that they can continue to find some way or another to get a stop on this powerful Vancouver College rushing attack.
If you're just tuning in, SportsCanada.TV, thank you for doing so. This is the game of the week. Van College leading Mount Doug 28-14, and they get the ball back with 6:38 to go in the third quarter. Man in motion, Nyvolt out of the eye back. He's going to hand this one straight at the middle to Johnson. Johnson, great hole made by his offensive line. Tackle made, looks like number 13 on the stop, Cole Birding. And about a 9-yard pickup by the Van College rushing attack.
And if you're Vancouver College, you run the ball until they make you no longer run the ball.
Yep.
Worth noting, like they are a very strong rushing attack. They only put up 23 points last week against South Delta. So there are ways to slow these guys down. Mount Doug needs to find them some way or another here.
Right back to a power formation. Well, they got 3 receivers bunched up to the right, and they're going to sweep this one to the right. It's Johnson. And a good play. Number 50 is really making his presence known out here. Enrique Del Alcazar. A little bit of a quiet first half, but he's really woken up in this third quarter.
Very much so. And Del Alcazar, a guy probably more of a defensive end body type, of being asked to play in the interior most of the time for this Mount Douglas defense. As you can see, despite the fact their offensive line has no size concerns, their defensive line a little bit undersized in comparison to some of the size that you see up front from the Vancouver College offensive line.
And with the quickness of Del Alcazar was on display there. Nivolt's going to throw this one up in the middle. 3 receivers to the right, and that will be incomplete.
Interesting. I thought there might have been the potential for a penalty there, as Nivet's throw went nowhere near anybody in a gold jersey.
Maybe an intentional grounding on that one?
Potentially. They must have seen somebody in the vicinity there that I didn't see, because nobody even thought to pull a flag out there, not even a flinch from the referee. So obviously something I missed there, but good job by Nivet to get rid of it, not take the negative play.
2nd and 10. Back to Johnson. Johnson with a huge hole. It's going to gain, looks like a first down on this one, if not a first down, very close to it. But a huge hole made there by that Van College offensive line. So something that we've been looking at all game.
Yes, and Vancouver College taking advantage of Mount Doug in the interior. They're able to flush players off the midline, and the defensive ends for Mount Doug right now are just coming upfield a little too aggressively. Both of them overran that play, and it looked like one of them in particular was not being blocked. You need to ask your defensive end to scrape down and affect that play there.
Another run here by Van College. Big burst to the outside. Number 22, Jaden Chong, pulled out right around the 33-yard line. And this rushing attack is just absolutely taking it to the Mount Doug defense. Whoever you put in there, they're able to find those holes.
You do have some laundry on the field. I did not see the foul. I assume in that vicinity, probably some sort of a blocking infraction that'll take this back, and that could bail out the Rams here.
Yeah, with where the flag is, right by that 50-yard line, it is consistent with it.
And a hold it is.
Yep, looks like it.
So a pretty key penalty call there that will back up the Irish. Now, holding is called from the spot of the foul there, so because it is a downfield penalty, you can see they will repeat first down 10 yards back where the penalty was. So it'll be the rare 1st and 8 situation here.
This is the answer to a trivia question somewhere. 1st and 8. So a 2-by-1 set. It looks like a two tight ends, pardon me. And on that, it's going to be Chong once again. What a hit! Number 7, Jackson Reed, silences the crowd with that one.
Chong dancing around the little scat back at about 5'7" there, and Reed came downhill hard and laid him out, but Chong hangs on, jogs off the fields, and gets a break in favor of Deshaun Johnson here.
Any little thing you can do for the Mount Doug defense to get some momentum, showing blitz once again. Nivolt's going to hand this one off to Johnson, another big hole, and a nice little looks like a small trip there, but play is made. That's number 58, Ramon DeJala.
Number 3, O'Shawn Thomas in on the tackle too. If I'm not mistaken, was the Rams' leading tackler after the first week of conference play. And he's a guy that the Rams' defense is going to need to be more involved in the run game. Too many tackles having to be made by the Rams' secondary in the run game right now. Not the way that you plan it as a defensive coach.
You know, Gord, I like the last 2 plays after a big rush, a big hit there, and the stop by the Mount Doug defense. However, a 2nd and 9 opened up for Van College with a man in motion. It's going to be Johnson once again, almost brought down behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to gain about 5 yards. Tackle is made by number 13, Cole Bunting.
Now, you're starting to see a little bit more penetration from the Mount Douglas front, but a couple of missed tackles forced by Johnson there turns it into a positive play nonetheless. Mount Doug needs to finish some of these plays if they're going to get the stop here and a fumble.
The third, it's a fumbled snap, and it doesn't look anybody really jumped on it. I think it's going to be spotted a yard short, but wow, opportunistic for Van College off a fumbled snap. Nivald just with a quick reaction time to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, quite fortunate for Van College, as you know, the only team that stopped them so far this afternoon has been themselves, and they just about did it to themselves again there at 4th and inches here. Another pretty key play here late in the third quarter.
Setting the blitz right off the bat, great timing of the snap count, but it's not going to matter. Great push by the center and the offensive line. First down converted by Van College. Now you can see those linebackers sniffing out the snap count there, almost beating it to it, but again, great push by the center.
Yeah, very much so, and the Nivett smartly as well, moving away from the pressure towards the left side of his offensive line there to get the what he needed, and then probably another yard at that point too.
Jaden Shong in on the backfield. Looks like they're sending the blitz again, and Laundry comes out. This is going to be an obvious one.
So Mount Douglas, this is trying to find some way to create pressure here. They are starting to run backers up to the line of scrimmage, trying to time up snaps here, and that one just causes an offensive lineman to flinch and react. And as much as you try and coach those guys up to not react to what you see, but instead what you hear, it is human nature when there is a large dude running at your face to want to protect yourself, so you can get caught on that at times.
Yep, that's a very human instinct there. I also feel that Mount Doug had a bit of success with their defensive line, then getting snuffed back. Maybe some frustration creeping in for those interior linemen as well. Double tight, and it looks like possibly Van College is going to get that one. A bit of movement from the tight end, but movement all around here. Yeah.
Tight end moves there. Vancouver College trying to slow down. I mean, this is one of the ways that you try and combat linebackers timing up the snap is by changing up that snap count. Thing is that your guys have to get used to the changed up snap count as well, and they back themselves up another 5 there, and we can only see his back, but I can picture the eye roll on Todd Burnett's face when that penalty was taken.
2 straight offside calls. This one should go through. It will. It's Chung. He's got a hole to his left, and he's brought down. Possibly some jersey that was grabbed there. A little bit of a violent takedown on that one.
Now, you see there the subtle difference between the horse collar penalty that we saw in the first half and a legal tackle. That was from the side of the jersey, the sleeve that he was pulled down by, perfectly legal. As soon as you get to the tops of the shoulders and around that collar, no matter what direction you're pulling from, side, front, or back, that's going to be a horse collar. So, you know, a game of inches in a lot of different ways, this sport.
Looks like they got Johnson in once again. Nivald, 3-step drop, looking to his left, airing it out, one-on-one coverage, and that one is overthrown. Intended receiver number 13, Vishwan Vijayaraja. Apologies to the family on that one.
Yeah, that's might need a pronunciation guide on a few of these names today.
It is a one-on-one battle there. It was overthrown. It's a third down, for Van College.
And that's one of those 50-50 balls that you put up there and see if your guy will make a play on. It's only second down. You now got 3rd and 15. You're on the plus side of midfield, so you don't necessarily need to get all the way to the sticks here. You're comfortable in the position that you are. Should you fail to turn this over, you're probably comfortable punting here and trying to pin Mount Doug deep.
3-step drop. Good pressure there. Screen pass. Johnson's not going to be able to make the catch. And this is definitely going to be a punting situation coming up, Gord.
Good sniff out by Mount Doug. Couple of the players unblocked up the gut on the screen, pressure the quarterback, but a couple of others realize what's going on and go and find the running back to sniff that out as well. So not only a rush throw, but also defenders in the vicinity of the screen. And, you know, I was watching Vancouver College's warm-up this afternoon, and one of the things they specifically practice in warm-up with just the quarterbacks and running backs is their screen drops and throws. So obviously something that they plan on being a key part of their offense, and Mount Doug prepared for that one in a 3rd and long situation.
It's 28-14, and we're coming up on the end of this third quarter here. About 25 seconds left to go on a 4th down play. 4th and maybe not a mile, but 4th and a fair bit. Of course, Van College is going to punt this one. Looks like it careens out of bounds just around the 25-yard line. We've got an injury down the. We've got an injury close to the 25-yard line here. Now, Gord, I didn't see what quite happened here.
Yeah, that was that. I don't think that was a contact injury. And again, you can see him starting to stretch out a leg, which to me, again, signals cramp. That's number 4, Marcus Tail, down on the field right now. So you would also like, ideally, a little bit better of a punt there in that position. That one going out just at the 20-yard line. Just a net of a little over 20 yards on that punt. You're hoping for it to be a little bit deeper if you are going to punt from that position. But nonetheless, Mount Doug up against it here. 20 seconds left in the third quarter, down by 14. It's got to be mistake-free football for them on the offensive side of the ball here.
Yeah, non-contact injuries, those are my least favorite ones. You'd hate to see a player go down. You've seen plenty of ACLs or MCLs or general muscle.
This looks very much like a calf cramp to me.
You can see that toe. It's not even moving on the right leg of, as you mentioned, number 4, Marcus Taol.
Yeah.
So, that without a doubt, that could be hopefully just a cramp. Hoping for the best on this one, but without a doubt, that's got to be some kind of calf issue.
Yeah, very much so, the way he's holding that lower leg. When you see them start mobilizing the leg immediately and start trying to stretch it out immediately, that usually rules out any of the more serious stuff, and you're usually looking at a muscle cramp. They probably don't even think there's actual damage to it, just a muscle cramp at that point in time.
So after the play, after the punt, Mount Doug is going to hand this one off on 1st down and 10. Looks like it is Jordan Clark with the carry. He's only going to get maybe 1 yard at the most.
Yeah,
Jordan's going to lose a yard.
Jordan Clark trying to hide in behind some of the big bodies from the Mount Douglas offensive line there. Something you would think that at his size he could probably do pretty effectively, but not the Golden Domers today, but the Golden Jerseys today managed to rally up and snuff it out, as that brings the third quarter to an end here.
The purple domes just doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No, it does not. No. Neither does the Golden Jerseys. So, as much as I really like the slick helmets that they're wearing, the traditionalist in me hopes that they maybe go back to the more traditional look. I think they were actually serving ice cream in the Golden Domes on the sidelines here at homecoming. So
at least they're doing something with them.
Yeah.
It's the end of the third quarter. We've got a fourth quarter coming up for you. Van College has a 2-touchdown lead, 28-14, and again, just 12 minutes to go. Now, Van College, it's not that Mount Doug hasn't been in this game, but this has been Van College totally in control of this one. Their rushing attack is on point. I've had my eye on Justin Soriano all day, of course, with his 20-yard scamper and the interception. Big fan of him as well. Mount Doug has had some success. They've definitely had some success. Hunter Swift is having a pretty good game right now. You want to see a little bit more out of Joe Lucas as well, as he's really been their X factor as well. Talk about some great tackles by Jackson Reed. But, Gord, I'm just going to come out and say it. What does Mount Doug need to do in this fourth quarter to get themselves back into a tie game?
Well, Joe Lucas has been bottled up a bit on offense for sure. The other guy, you mentioned him on the defensive side of the ball, Jackson Reed. We saw him involved in the offense a little bit in the first half. He's a guy at 6'4", 6'5", that could be a pretty useful weapon for them on the offensive side of the ball as well. And they're going to have to, I know they've been trying to take the pressure off of Hunter Swift a little bit since those 2 first half interceptions. They're going to need to open it up pretty quick here, and it looks like they're starting right now.
And they're doing just that. Hunter Smith rolling to his left, throws it out, almost intercepted. Number 54 on the play. Matt Hogue is able to get hands on it and get the deflection for his stats. But really, for Van College, that should have been an interception.
Very much so, and what appears to be Matt Hogue's dad is about 3 rows in front of us right now wearing a purple Hogue jersey, and he was as demonstrative as his son was there when he dropped that pick.
He's still shaking his head.
as I probably would be if that were my son on that play too, and you can see Junior is out there still shaking his head on the field as well. So almost, not to cut you off there, almost a critical mistake right off the hop there for Mount Doug, and now they're in a 3rd and long situation deep in their own end. They desperately need yardage here, and I would be interested to see what the decision is should they get to a 4th down situation here, whether they keep the offense on the field or not.
That is a good point. That interception changes everything for Mount Doug. They have a chance now. They didn't before, or potential for it, at least 2 to each side. It is Hunter Swift getting a bit of a talking from Primo. Kind of a pre-snap read here. Off the clap, looks to his left. Here is Jackson Reed. putting a hit on his man, but they're not going to get the first down. They may get close. Jackson Reed getting involved on the offense, but some good play by the Van College defensive backs, pardon me.
One thing that I would like to see Mount Doug start to try to take advantage of is they're still throwing a lot of stuff to the wings. They've attacked in between the hash marks a little bit deep. They have not attacked that mid-range over the middle game. You're seeing defensive backs and outside linebackers flying out of the box hard from Van College. They're rallying on that wide stuff very effectively right now. If I'm Mount Doug, I'm finding something cutting across the middle to take advantage of Vancouver College overplaying that, or maybe I call this a special in my offense, but maybe you have a fake screen and go to take advantage of the aggressiveness from the edge defenders of Vancouver College here. But they're going to have to pull these things out pretty quickly here into the fourth quarter right now.
Now they're going for the punt here. Not sure if they were designing on any trickery. You know, Van College showing some blitz there, and unfortunately, a offside call against Mount Doug is going to force them even further back. This is, punting the ball, of course, is not a great place to be, but just cutting that field in half as you're going to give it back to Van College here. High arcing punt. It's Jackson Chong. He's going to pick this one up at his own 45-yard line. Lots of space to work with. Great block by Soriano, and even more space for Chong to work with. He'll get pushed out near the 15 to 13-yard line. A flag comes down. Soriano with a huge hit on that one as well, but the punt team gets backed up 5 yards, and that's exactly what Van College wants, but that is not what you wanted as the Mount Douglas Rams.
It is not, but they're going to get bailed out here as they determine that big block you saw from Soriano was just from the backside. You get a lot of those very 50-50 gray areas. Did he hit him from the side? Did he hit him from just behind the side? And you can see actually Vancouver College's coaches talking to Soriano on the sidelines right now, and they're just demonstrating for him, hey, you just got him just in the back of that right shoulder there, really close to being exactly what we needed from you there.
Yeah, I thought it was a little close, but as you mentioned, no protesting from the coaching staff, absolutely no protesting from Van College. Just going to take this one, as you mentioned, just on the side of that one. So Van College with this one, but not with the great field position that they had. Johnson, though, looking to eat it right back. And look at this run. Jackson Reed's going to pull him out. Another flag comes down around the 40-yard line. But this fourth quarter has really started out in Van College's favor as the whole game has been going.
Yeah, they need to clean up the blocking a little bit. I think this is going to be another blocking infraction, and so they are shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here as the plays are working and gaining yardage, but they are negating it with their own infractions here.
Holding infraction is going to bring Van College back. They're still up by 2 scores in this game. And I feel like a team that has been winning this game with their running attack, up by 2. They probably just want to run that clock right out, give a bit more opportunities, not just to Jaden Chong, but also Deshaun Johnson, Soriano. Let's get their rushers some more yards. Out of the eye back, 2 tight ends. Receiver to each side. Nyvolt is going to hand this one off. It's Chong. A great penetration by Mount Doug's defensive line. Del Alcazar is finally going to bring him down, along with about 3 or 4 other Rams. This is probably what Mount Doug wanted a little bit more of in the first and second quarters as well.
You know, unfortunate break for Van College there in that Chong breaks the first tackle, has the second effort and attempts to gain more, actually loses 3 or 4 more yards on that. And I think they didn't necessarily get the most flattering spot either, but that play turns into a loss of about 6 and puts them in a second and very long situation here. A really good job by the Mount Douglas front of creating penetration, rallying to the ball. There were multiple white jerseys in the backfield there, both defensive linemen and linebackers, to make sure that no matter how many tackles he broke, Chong wasn't going anywhere.
And we've seen him get close all day. Nyvolt's going to hand this one right off. A great stiff arm by Johnson, but it looks like Primo with the tackle on that one. Only about a 3 or 4 yard gain.
And I've been pretty impressed with Peter Primo, a starter on both sides of the ball for the Rams, or at least a regular rotation guy on both sides of the ball, as I haven't seen him out there full-time on defense, but their main running back and one of their better linebackers right now, number 24 in the long black sleeves, making a big tackle there. Big 3rd and 15 stop upcoming here for the Rams if they want to stay in this thing. And they have hung around despite not putting any more points on the board yet in the second half.
Yep, definitely in this one. Down by 2 scores, sure, but definitely in this one. 2 to the right, man in motion for Nijvalts. Running this clock down, just hands it right off to Johnson. Johnson with another big hole, but it closes up very quickly. Great job here by Mount Doug. I don't know what was said to them as the defense came out for this series, but whatever was said, it's working for them. 4 and 12.
Bit of a conservative play call there for Todd Burnett and the college offense, keeping the ball on the ground. Now, granted, when it's been as effective as it has today, maybe it's hard to critique it as too conservative, but making sure that clock keeps running. This is a team that is confident with their 2-score lead right now and confident in putting it back in the hands of their defense that has really gotten the better of the Mount Douglas offense for the last quarter and a half at this point in time.
Now, one thing that I had been saying all game is we got plenty of time left. Not the case anymore. Only 7.5 minutes to go as Mount Douglas is going to scramble back for this kick. Great bounce for Van College. Lucas is going to lose the football. And Mount Doug may have lost their chance of coming back at this one, as well as it's picked up by number 44, Jacob Danis. What a turn of events for Van College.
I think Mount Douglas is going to retain the ball here 50-50 with the 2 players falling on. I think Lucas is going to retain the ball here, and Mount Doug will have the ball, but deep in their own end.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like they're lining it up at about their own 5-yard line here. Trying to figure out what the officials are. Oh, we do have a penalty. Oh, that is a sideline warning coming from the head referee here.
So while the referees sort this one out,
no, it is. They are going to call a penalty on Vancouver College here and back them up 5 yards. The signal there, the 2 hands in motion, tells me it was an illegal motion of some sort or an illegal formation. And it's going to be back 4. So brilliant field position for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish.
Are we going to
squandered here, and we're going to get a repunt on 4th down being played over.
Okay, I thought we had a repunt on our hands here, so everything that just happened, we're just going to negate it. We're going to do it all over again. And a high snap there is fielded. Good punt here, nice high one, and a bit more of a Mountain Doug bounce as it's fielded by Van College. But as you mentioned, that had the potential to be absolutely game-breaking for the Van College Fighting Irish. Possibly picking up position around the 10 or 5. Now Mount Doug will have position to whittle into this lead with 7.5 to go, right around the 35-yard line.
Yeah, positive bounce for Mount Doug on that high kick. It bounces back towards the Vancouver College punt team. They down it pretty quickly, but a much more positive outcome from that play than the initial version of it for the Mount Doug Rams. They have about 30 yards less of field position to have to eat up here.
I like to do this thing called quantum football. In another universe, we're calling another Van College touchdown here with the last series of events. But again, it's all negated as it stands right now. Swift is going to hand this one off right up to Jordan Clark, and he's going to get nothing. Number 54 for Van College, Matt Hogue. Is that a pretty big second half?
He has, and Jordan Clark down on the ground. And this is unfortunately what you risk when you have such an undersized guy. I'm a little surprised that they didn't have a lead blocker for him there. This was just a zone run, no power or anything like that. They've often escorted him through the hole. This afternoon they decided not to do that there, and he ran headlong into Hogue, who at 200 pounds and 5'11", is significantly bigger than the 5'5", 135 Jordan Clark.
That is a big difference in size there as well. I agree with you, Gord. I'm a little surprised that they didn't have somebody trying to fill that hole out for him. But I digress. I hope Clark is going to be okay. He's down for a while here.
Yeah, it looked like he was grabbing his back as he hit the ground, and he did get put pretty hard into the turf there by Hogue. So I would suspect this is probably the last we see this afternoon of Jordan Clark.
Especially with only 6:48 to go in this fourth quarter. You got Primo there, who we've both been pretty impressed with out of the running attack.
And oftentimes when somebody's grabbing a neck or back area, this can potentially be an elongated treatment session as they make sure that everything's mobile, there are no structural issues in that back, and that they are comfortable moving him, because as soon as you get spinal column, the red flags light up.
Yep. Big time, yeah. And it's going to be very careful with this one, as they should be. Not that much time left in it, 6:48 as mentioned. SportsCanada.TV. It's the game of the week. Van College trying to put a cap on this one, but Mount Douglas still in it. It's 28-14 for Van College. It feels like it's been a while since we mentioned that both of these teams are 0-1 right now. Somebody is going to get their first win of the season.
And you can hear them keeping the tunes current here at Vancouver College, pulling out the
it's John Denver, right?
Yeah, classic John Denver here.
Oh yeah, this is
We're
all over.
a long way from West Virginia.
We are a long, yeah. So some modern tracks here. This one just came out 2 weeks ago.
This one.
Yeah,
real banger. Yeah, so
as the kids say.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too much into the kid slang here.
No.
It will not go well for us.
We did hear Old Town Road earlier.
Which, I don't know, like, is that, I mean, I know that's a new version of an old song, but, you know, the original is Billy Ray Cyrus. Like, you know. It's funny, though, you tell kids, like, oh, that's Miley's dad. They're like, what?
Who? That's a bit of an undertapped market. Rap country. I believe Cotton Eye Joe and Old Town Road are the only songs that exist in those genres.
Maybe a little Wake Me Up, Avicii there. That's
kind
of country-ish, yeah.
Yeah, they'd forget about that one.
Yeah.
All right, so after that little excursion.
Name that tune here on BC High School Football Game of the Week.
You don't just get a football game for the game of the week. 3-1 for Swift. He's going to throw this one to the one-on-one side, and what a catch by Lucas.
Nope,
they're going to rule that one. They are ruling that one out of bounds.
Too bad. I like the play call there. Yeah. You're designing a one-on-one with your best offensive weapon, and the throw just led Lucas out of bounds. As it did fall into his hands. A really good throw by Swift, just a hair too close to their own sidelines, and Lucas not able to get the toes in.
Yeah, it looks like he's learning from the earlier interception to Soriano, trying to peel a bit more to the outside. Here is a pitch to Primo. Primo back in this one, but he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. That will be number 6, Tim Choi. Great defensive play there.
And we have another ram down the field. We've seen that play a couple times going to the other side of the field, and now this is Primo down for the Rams. So that is now both of their regular running backs nicked up right now. Be interesting to see who comes onto the field for them. It looks like we might see a little bit of O'Shawn Thomas here.
Now, Primo looks decent, but I believe with going down, he's going to miss a minimum of 3 plays.
1, I think, is what it is in high school. He has to be out for at least 1. Now, he's holding his head, which to me says that they're going to at least take a little bit longer look at him and make sure that he's good. You know, as I mentioned with Clark, head, neck, back, never simple, right? Never straightforward. So, and we will see number 3, O'Shawn Thomas, the linebacker mostly this afternoon, coming into the backfield for Mount Doug here.
Now here comes a pretty difficult play call for Mount Douglas. It is 4th and 6. You need to keep this drive going. A 3-by-1 set. It's Lucas to the left side. He's going to look to Lucas once again. Pardon me. It is Lucas. 1-on-1 with number 21. Hader Zeta, and it looks like Hader Zeta is going to win that one-on-one matchup. A turnover on downs.
Yeah, the referee's letting them play on that 50-50 ball there. I thought I saw a couple jersey pulls while the ball was in the air there as they were both jockeying for it, but it's hard to penalize a defensive back who is in as good a body position as Parsa Hader Zadeh was there. And Mount Doug will turn it over on downs here. Another example, they gave themselves more field to work with there. But another example, they ran trips to the boundary, tried to isolate Lucas on a one-on-one. That time you talked about the better throw from Swift before. That time I felt like that was underthrown, pulled him back into the middle of the field more than you want to in that situation as well.
So after the turnover, 6 minutes to go, Johnson straight up the gut, finds a crease to the right-hand side, and he's got a lot of space. One man to beat, he beats him. Van College running away with this one. Number 2, Deshaun Johnson, his second run of the game. And this game was almost up and out of there. Now I think this game is out of reach, Gord.
Yes, I do. not necessarily because of the scoreline on the scoreboard, but just the combination of the turn of events there. Mount Doug stalling on 4th down, and then the very first play, Vancouver College putting an emphatic stamp on it. You saw Jackson Reed, the last man back there, just kind of eased up right at maybe he had a chance to make a desperation tackle there and just eased up at the end there, and it looks like it's kind of last call for the Rams just based on body language and what else is going on.
High snap for the extra point. Flag is down. We're going to do this one over again. Well, I don't know about you, Gord. Certainly as a coach yourself, body language really speaks to me as a broadcaster. It's one of the first things you look for. And, I mean, you just said it right there with Reed kind of giving up on that last play. And with the turn of events, this one's a formality.
Yeah, I would say so. There's too much hill to climb and not enough time left for Mount Doug right now. They need to score quick as we continue to see dysfunction on the PAT attempt here. Good practice for the field goal kicker, backing this up to about a 30-yard field goal at this point in time. But
we didn't quite get to see him warm up. Not sure where he was kicking from, but he's going to need the practice snaps in here. A little bit of dysfunction on the PAT. 2 straight penalties in a row. But as number 17's on to kick this one through, Ben Kolb.
At least we can guarantee this one won't end up in the neighborhood or hitting somebody's car this time.
Well, he's going to have to try pretty hard. Now, the point is going to be through, but now we've been mentioning it all game. Number 10, Lyndon Williams, a diving catch, and getting so close to getting some of these. He's going to get one this season.
Yeah, Martin Ferrer is slim on the edge of those PAT teams. The blocking protection is designed to make the edge just wide enough to get the kick through, and Vancouver College has been on the right side of that fine line all afternoon.
5:55 to go. It's the 4th quarter now, 35-14 is Van College running away with this one. I mean, I don't want to front sell it too much because anything can happen. We've seen some weird things in this game of football, but Mount Doug does not have a lot of time to get 3 scores under their bat, and on top of that, they've got to stop Van College's offense on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how this offensive series goes for them.
Yeah, good bounce-back effort for Vancouver College this afternoon after their opening loss at South Delta, and again speaks to how difficult this conference is going to be.
Kick is up and away. Coombs is going to field this one around his 2-yard line. Tries to find a man to the left, breaks 2 tackles, and is finally taken down. Heavy hit on special teams. That's number 50 with the play, Colin McKellar.
And on the Mount Doug sidelines, you want to see who is going to continue playing in this. Hey, things don't get any easier for them hosting, I should say, Notre Dame next week. And I was just talking about that Western Conference being a gauntlet. Tough start to conference schedule for Mount Doug. New West provincial champions from 2 seasons ago, and now Vancouver College, the perennial contender. They had a down year once, like 4 years ago, but they're always up there. They were ranked number 1 in the province prior to that loss last week. So, that's a tough start to conference play, especially coming in here for homecoming.
Swift gets a pass complete to number 6, Glenn Rose. I feel like it's the first time I've called his name today. And 6-yard pickup.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention off the top of this game, I should say, great to see out for the opening coin toss, Vancouver College alumnus and recent Canadian Football Hall of Fame inductee Frank Smith out here for the opening coin toss. I suspect he may have headed out to Point Grey for the Thunderbirds game after this one, if he hasn't already.
Number 23 with the carry. Number 23, Luciano Coombs, as we have been noticing that Mount Douglas is running out of running backs. Number 24, Peter Primo, down with an injury, likewise with Jordan Clark. And Luciano Coombs returning a couple of kickoffs. That's his first carry. And the Mount Doug Rams will convert that first down.
Yeah, they got to move quick here. Time running away quickly on them.
5 minutes to go in this one, and a catch is made by Lucas. They've tried to isolate him in a couple of situations. He gets that grab. Only, about a 5-yard pickup here
For those of you curious, by the way, the Thunderbirds down 7-0 at home versus the Alberta Golden Bears halfway through the first quarter in that one out at Point Grey. Thunderbirds desperately need a victory here after starting 0-4 out of the gate.
Still early in that one, only the first quarter of play there. Fourth quarter here, and the ball hangs in the air for a while. And number 6, Glenn Rose, unable to make the catch on that one. It's going to be a 3rd and 6. The Bank College crowd is definitely in on this one.
Yeah, and I forget until I come out here that Vancouver College an all-boys school until I start seeing their cheering section. A lot of dudes out there.
Mm-hmm. They're passionate. They're passionate. I love the painted chests.
They are, and hey, they've kept everything totally clean. You know, you're always a concern with teenagers that someone might slip up and say something they regret. I haven't seen anything untoward at all from the kids here who've been tarps off all afternoon here. I'm going to guess there are going to be a few sunburns tomorrow morning.
Probably, yeah. They got some even tans to work with. As Swift is going to throw this one out, a flag is down. It's another new running back for Mount Douglas, number 38, Caleb Zaliauskas-Swan.
So at this point in time, you're just working some of the stuff in your offensive playbook that you want to work. I mean, obviously, you break a big one. Maybe there's still some hope in this one, but you're working some stuff that you want to get a little better at, and you want your guys to get more experience running against a real opponent and building towards the future here as, Mount Doug needs to bounce back pretty quickly here with another challenging game next week.
As you mentioned, as this series started out, you want to see who's going to be, really playing for this one, who's still putting in maximum effort, even though they're down by 3 touchdowns. And, you get some new bodies in there. You see who you have on some of your reserves, who you could tap a little later on into the season. Maybe get some of those juniors some playing times. They're going to be seniors soon enough. 3-by-1. Hunter Swift. Over another shotgun formation, pump fakes, goes deep, has to chase, gets away from pressure. Great play by Swift here. Eyes downfield, and a catch is made. Big hit, but number 10, Lyndon Williams able to come down with that one. Great play by Swift as well.
Impressive stuff by Swift. That escapability, running straight back and doing the Russell Wilson-like
very Russell Wilson
180 to allow the two defenders to run into each other and escape that pressure, then to look downfield, have the presence of mind to spot somebody coming open and throw it in there. Really impressive play by Swift. Mount Doug, you don't design offensive plays to be based on pressure, but something you must take some good heart in seeing your quarterback do at this point in the game.
Another 3-by-1. This one probably a designed quarterback run is Swift. Just a quick look, able to scamper up for 3 or 4 yards. And we'll get a second down. Now, we're late in this one. We have kind of put the nail in the coffin already, but this is a good maybe not last drive, but this is a good drive here for Mount Doug.
It is, yeah, and it would be nice, as we talked about, you're just about getting positives moving forward here now. And so, they've seen a couple good plays from your quarterback here. You'd want to punch this in and get some positives moving forward.
Showing the blitz, Swift able to step up. Can't get the first down, but it's only 2nd and 6. He's able to get some positive yardage out there.
Now, that being said, too, if you're Mount Doug at this point in this game, you probably want to tell your quarterback, dude, just get rid of the ball. Let's not take some hits moving forward here in a 21-point game with 2.5 minutes left. It's hard to rein in kids who just want to play, and clearly Hunter Swift is one of those kids.
We've already got 2 running backs down on that one, faking the option. Swift will take the hits. They're going to be short. I think they got themselves back to the original line, not to the line of scrimmage on this play at least.
Primo was back in for one play there and has retreated to the sideline, so he's obviously battling through something a little bit right now, as O'Shawn Thomas was back in there as the running back on that play. And we're down to a 4th and 1 here with Mount Doug, like I said, looking to establish some positive momentum late in this one.
And that's a good sign. With any time left to go, you got one of those running backs in there. Primo, of course, we've both been very impressed with in this game. Even in limited action, it would be so easy to just shelve him, put him on the sideline for a little while. Putting him out there shows that, it's not as bad as we thought it was.
For sure. If the game's already lost, your biggest concerns are finding something positive to build on and staying healthy moving forward. The last thing you want is for injuries to pile on here. So I would be surprised, although I do see Primo on the field right now, so we may see him again here. But, I would be surprised if they push their guys too much.
2:24 left in this one, 35-14. Van College running away with this one. Mountain Doug is spirited, a fair on their own, but only 14 points put up. They're close to the red zone here, just on the outside of it at the 21. And it is a 4th and 3. You want to move those sticks and get first down before you start thinking about a touchdown. And as you mentioned, Primo's back in on this one. 2 to each side. Van College showing blitz. And they do blitz Swift out to his right-hand side. And he's going to be brought down. At least gets the ball out to save a bit of field position. A man down in the middle of the field. But this is going to be a turnover.
And Joe Lucas down on the ground for the Rams. And exactly what I was talking about as a Rams coach, you're hoping you don't see here as Joe Lucas crumples to the turf, holding his left knee or his leg around the knee area at least.
Well, we can see if they call this one a lower body injury as Lucas is down. Wondering out loud if this is more of the cramping issue that we thought it may be earlier in this game, or if it could just be, regular old football contact injuries. But this is not a good sign as Lucas is not putting any weight on that left leg.
Yeah, it may also be one of those things where something hurts a little bit, and that was a key play that pretty much ended all hope for the Rams.
Yeah.
And so, it just you mentally are defeated as much as you are physically defeated. But hey, let's talk about Vancouver College. Really good bounce back performance from them. They were victimized by a really dynamic football player in Ben McDonald last week, the quarterback extraordinaire at South Delta, and that team is going to be really, really fun to watch this year. They needed this bounce back here today. They go into Belmont next week, who lost to Handsworth yesterday, appears to be one of the weaker members of this aforementioned very strong conference. And another Ram down on the field here.
Yep, and writhing in pain here, grabbing his right leg.
He's holding a calf. He seems to be quite a bit of pain. I cannot see who that is at this point in time. Might be Del Alcazar.
It is tough to make out just with the angle here, but clearly one of the Rams want to narrow that down to the defensive line. 2:06 to go. Again, 35-14 left in the
and unfortunately,
in the
a
fourth.
little injury being added to the insult here for the Rams. And it'd be interesting to see a bit of a gut check time for the reigning provincial champions, 0-2 in conference play out of the gate here. And like I said, things not getting any easier next week for them. They need to focus on turning the ship around on the hurley. Now, one of the good things about being in this Western Conference, it is such a strong conference, but that's recognized in the playoff structure. I think all but 2 teams in the conference make the provincial playoffs, so you can afford to have a little bit of margin for error. It makes your playoff road a little tougher, but you can afford to have a little bit of margin for error as long as you are peaking at the right time. One of the things that Mount Doug has done for years is they always seem to find ways to peak at the right time. And there have been a couple of those championship teams that have had their setbacks in the regular season, but then when things have counted, have come on stronger than ever.
What you're saying is Mount Doug probably not, maybe not worried about an 0-2 start. Certainly not what they envisioned to start the year, but something that they could definitely bounce back from.
Yeah, I think the worry for Mount Doug right now, their previous generation of players, they had supreme athletes all over the field. You had Guinean and Zarek Kremler. They're both at Simon Fraser now. You had Sebastian Howard. I believe he's at Queens now. You had a number of weapons on offense that were all next-level caliber guys and could make things happen for you. And that's not to sleep on some of the linemen that they had that go to the next level, such as Jake Onstead, the older brother of Matthew Onstead on the current Rams roster. So, like Coach Townsend was saying last week to me, this is a matter of trying to figure out who your guys are and who's going to be your guy. And right now, Joe Lucas is a very good player. I don't see anybody who is quite as dynamic individually as that last generation of players. So now as a team, the floor has to rise because the ceiling isn't quite as high as it was before.
Yeah. That was Del Alcazar, as you had guessed at. It's a good call there, Gord. And we hope he's okay. He's been helped off the field after a 2nd and 8. Good little run here by Van College. It looks like it's just enough for the first down is picked up by Jaden Chong.
Yeah, my optometrist would be proud on the spot there. And this is just, I would be shocked if you see Vancouver College put the ball in the air for the rest of the afternoon here. And that Del Alcazar injury, I mean, obviously John Lucas, a pretty big injury for them. Del Alcazar, who is still on the ground on the sidelines right now. You know, we talked about how effective he was on the defensive line, a defensive line that may be a little undersized by this conference's standards. That could be potentially a pretty big loss for them up front as well.
Offside call here against the Mount Doug Rams. Now with Del Alcazar, especially that second half, he really had a strong second half. He had a sack on 4th down. He was almost able to sniff out a fumble as well. Some great plays by him. That's not a player that you want to see miss a significant amount of time for Mount Doug. Another thing that I want to touch on is something that you brought up earlier today, Gord, in the sense of those skill positions. With all of those old positions moving on, it's tough for Mount Doug to integrate those new ones and to keep on going. They're going to lose a step when you lose so many of those skill positions at key positions like that.
Yeah, the good thing you can fall back on as Mount Doug is you have a proven, successful offensive system. You have a winning culture in the program. And we've got the Christmas carols breaking out here.
Yeah, that
for some reason.
Yeah. There's got to be some kind of backstory behind this, but Silent Night breaking out.
Please, by all means, feel free to inform us on the basis of that, as I am not necessarily as up to date on Vancouver College traditions as everybody. You can hit me up on Twitter at GA Randall, RANDALL, if you have a scoop on that one. But
and I'm Alex the Kerrigan. I also want to know about that one. It's not night. It's 3:40, and it's also not silent. So it is a run to Chong, busting out on the right-hand side. Good little tackle here, number 18, Luke Kedves. And, yeah, time is just going to bleed out to the last few seconds here.
And we'll just let the crowd noise soak over you here as the clock ticks down to 0, and that ends this one.
And this is a good one. This was a great one from start to finish. Van College will take it over Mount Douglas 35-14. Great first quarter for both squads, but after that it was all Vancouver College. My name is Alexander Kerrigan. Gord Randall again with us. And Gord, I didn't mean to cut you off out there.
Very good start for Vancouver College. They established the ground game early and physically wore down the Mount Douglas Rams as this game progressed. I think that was really the tale on the afternoon, and a good strong bounce back for the Irish after a setback in their opening game. And then going into, as I think you're about to allude to, onto Vancouver Island to play Belmont next week.
You're exactly right. That's how I was going to work into this one. It's Notre Dame is going to Mount Douglas, and then Vancouver College heading over to Belmont for next week. And you can catch all of those games right on SportsCanada.TV. This was the game of the week, and I thank you for joining it. 35-14 is the final. Van College over Mount Douglas. My name is Alexander Kerrigan.
And I'm Gord Randall.
And thank you again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon.